listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. The best Giants talk in the Bay is on 95.7 The Game. Reaction to every pitch.
Miller throws. He got him with the fastball. Miller's pointing at all the Reds.
Every home run.
High drive! Left field! Out of here!
And every big play.
A little slow roller. Chapman. Barehand. Got it!
It's your fix for Giants baseball.
It is a dream come true, but it's a very recent dream.
The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap.
The pitch to Eldridge. Bouncing ball to second. And that's the ball game. So it comes down to Mejia throwing one pitch. And the Giants drop a tough one, having the lead in the ninth.
Hello there. Welcome in to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Sam Lohman here alongside my co-host Dan Devone on this fabulous Saturday, July 11th. And stop me if you heard this before, but Giants lost last night because of the bullpen. Oh, no one stopped me. That was because it's happened a lot before. Giants lose 4-3 to the Rockies in a game in which they led 2-1 going into the top in the ninth inning. Caleb Killian comes in and can't shut the door, and that is putting the ninth inning very, very mildly down. That was an hour-long ninth inning last night. One of the most bonkers ninth innings that I have ever seen at a Giants game. The top of the ninth inning was crazy enough. Then you get to the bottom of the ninth inning, where all hell broke loose almost. You got two runners on. Casey Schmidt hits a blooper out the center. The center fielder comes in. I think it was Freeman. Dives, doesn't make the catch. No umpire makes a call. At least no umpire visibly makes a call. And you had a ballpark of 30,000-something people all standing there going, what the heck is going on here? Anyway, how you doing this morning, Dan?
I'm well. It's another Saturday. A day in the life of our program here and of Giant fans. That was really strange. That ninth inning was just kind of entertaining, though, if nothing else. I guess my takeaway is that two highly competitive teams that are about at the same level. If you think about it, I mean, two of the worst teams.
Are they competitive? Are they just both really bad?
Well, that's what I mean. They're competitive with each other because they're at about the same, just about eye level in terms of talent, which is really not saying a lot for the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, it's a sad battle to stay out of the league's basement. That's basically what this weekend between the Giants and the Rockies are. Again, welcome into the show.
Combined 112 losses.
It's not even the All-Star break yet. I mean, look, it's the National League's toilet bowl. I think only the Mets are in that same level of bad as the Giants and Rockies are. Again, we are coming to you live from the Laughing Monk Studios. Laughing Monk righteously brewed in San Francisco, and it overshadowed what was kind of not the most exciting game. It was a pretty blah Friday night game. Again, it was 2-1 going into that ninth inning. Robbie Ray, solid in his 5+ innings of work until the walks started to rear their ugly head, especially in that sixth inning. And I do want to give a shout out to one positive that happened last night. Dylan Smith coming in with the bases loaded, no outs in that sixth inning, getting those 3 outs, not allowing a run. And we'll hear from Dylan later in the show, Dan. But I remember I had a conversation with Jordan Hicks a couple years ago when he was on the Giants. And I believe it was when I had him on for Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys. And he was saying, for relievers, it's tough because the media always wants to talk to a reliever when something goes wrong, when they blow the game, when they give up the go-ahead run. But no one ever wants to talk to the reliever after they do something good or, basically do their job. And so I made it a point after Dylan got out of that inning to chat with him last night and give him his flowers. So we'll be hearing from Dylan Smith later in the show as well. You know who else we're going to hear from on this show, Dan?
Tell me.
I'm excited to do this one. I had a chance to sit down with Ron Washington yesterday before the game. Had a great conversation with him. We will replay that probably at 11 o'clock this morning, so definitely don't go anywhere. You're going to want to hear that. That was an awesome conversation. Talked about his time coaching in Oakland, why he came back to San Francisco, some of his biggest successes as a coach, of who he's worked with. So just Ron Washington, a baseball lifer. Truly is. He is just one of the most fun baseball guys to talk to. So that was really awesome getting able to chat with him. And so we will hear that at 11 this morning. As for last night's game, though, Dan, I always have a say in sports. When you lose by one score, whether by one goal, one bucket, one touchdown, one run, you didn't just lose for any one reason. There was a lot that didn't go right last night. There was an offense that going against Tanner Gordon, a guy with a 6.95 ERA, absolutely shutting this team down. And so you're not scoring against a bad pitcher. That sets you up that puts you in a situation with a bullpen that's not very good, having no margin of error to work with. One thing just leads to another, not taking advantage of opportunities, doing a bad job of setting up opportunities, and then you end up having the ninth inning happen, and everybody's angry.
Yeah, I want to say Tanner Gordon is a lot like many pitchers that have come through Colorado, that his splits are sort of highly indicative of sort of the pitcher he is. I think he's much, much better on the road. So it can be a little deceptive when you look at the bloated ERA. But point well taken that he should not have been as effective as he was. I'd say Robbie Ray, his outings are really key from this point forward because you want high production out of him just simply because you want to get as much back from him when you put him on the market coming up in a couple of weeks. And he labored. It wasn't one of his stronger performances. And yes, he dealt with control issues once again, but thanks to Dylan Smith, he was able to gut through. But it's, I don't know, how many times have we seen this? It's just not a good bullpen, Sammy. I mean, we can break this down and get into the ninth inning, as I'm sure we will, but really, when it comes down to it, you have a one-digit lead, you're going into the ninth, you know that there is absolutely no security at this point that this thing is far, far from over. And sure enough, once again, whether it was Killian or, I don't know, you just fill in the name. There's absolutely no sense of confidence that they're going to get this thing done.
Well, that's always my favorite game to play on Twitter after all these kind of Giants losses. And I'm gonna call out our guy Alex in Atlanta. He's called into the show a couple times. He's a big time caller on the Morning Roast. He'll always tweet out after every bullpen meltdown, way to go, Tony Vitello, or something of that nature. And my favorite response to him is like, what would you rather had? Who you go to? Like, this is why, I'm not trying to absolve Tony Vitello of all things. I
think you can on this one.
The bullpen, Dan, I don't really blame him for a lot. I actually thought Tony did a very good job managing the bullpen last night. Not just with Dylan Smith coming in and getting those 3 outs. That's more on Dylan, I think, but good on Tony Vitello to put him into that situation. And then later in the game, he goes to Sam Hentges in the 7th inning to get, who's our guy? I think Roger Caring is his name. I don't think his first name's Roger. Doesn't matter. Caring to get him. He's a switch hitter to go from the left side to the right side, where he's a slightly weaker hitter. And Sam Hentges does a lot. And Sam Hentges does really, really good against right-handed hitters. He flipped him around there. We've seen that blow up in the Giants' face in the past. It ends up working out. He strikes him out, and Hentges comes back in the 8th inning to face 2 righties and a switch hitter who would be hitting righty. Gets all 3 of those outs there. I thought that was great bullpen management and how he utilized Hentges in that situation. Unfortunately, though, you got a whole other inning that you got to get through there. And Caleb Killian, I feel for the guy. He's like everyone else on this team. He's just not a closer.
Yeah. I mean, who are the greatest managers of all time in baseball? Joe McCarthy, Casey Stengel.
Yeah. Joe Torre, Bruce Bochy, Tony La Russa. Yeah.
What are they going to do if they have that bullpen? Like, this is one of those that, I've gone after Vitello, you know this, but when it comes to the bullpen, his hands are tied. What? It's just throw a dart at this point. And what's amazing about the back end of that bullpen is that as bad as it was last year, at least there were stretches where you could count on Camilo Duvall before he exploded. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Ryan Walker. I can't think of a series this year. Forget about a week or a month. I can't even think over a sustained 2 series where Vitello could say, okay, I feel comfortable in a 1-run game or in a close game going to my bullpen and shutting the door, because they've been able to do it over fill in the blank the last week or 4 days. He hasn't even had that in his back pocket. I've never seen more ineptitude, at least for the Giants. Maybe you got to go back to the 80s when you're talking about a setup and a closer.
Yeah, no, this is Steven Risotto had this before the season started. He thought this could be the worst bullpen in franchise history. And I was like, oh, come on.
And now look.
And there you go. There's Steven Risotto, Pasta, chiming in right there. By the way, quick, not Roger Carrig, Cole Carrig was his name. So we'll make sure we get his name right there. But Yeah, to your point with the bullpen, Dan, there's no option. There's no option you can go to in any inning where you feel good. There was a period in April where I thought, maybe this bullpen might be better than we expected, at least like a mid-tier bullpen. But yeah, this is why I have a hard time getting angry at Tony Vitello on any given night about the bullpen. How are you supposed to pass a test when there are no right answers? That's the situation that Tony finds himself in and night out with this bullpen here. And then when you're working with a slim margin of error against a very bad team, Dan, Giants had 11 hits last night. 8 of those hits, I believe, came with nobody on base. And that kind of falls in line with the pattern you've seen all year with this team. The Giants lead the league in hits with the bases empty. They lead the league in doubles with the bases empty. So when you see this team getting lots of hits, when you see this team with a high batting average, it doesn't paint the whole story. They're getting hits, but these hits aren't doing damage. And they're not doing damage after getting these hits. And as a result, you're not able to score runs. You're not able to give your bullpen a cushion. And a very weak unit is put into a very difficult situation night in and night out. One thing always begets another with this team. That's why I say it's never just one thing. Something happens, a domino falls earlier in the game all the time that ends up causing more dominoes to fall in a negative sense later on in the game.
Maybe we can't blame Vitello, which I wholeheartedly agree with you there. But can we point a finger at Buster Posey going into the season?
Oh, absolutely. He gets all of the fingers.
I think especially when it comes, say what you will about the Devers trade and some of the position players, but when it came to the bullpen, I think there was just a strong consensus like, Buster, really, we're going to start the season with this? Like this is a little unsettling. So while Vitello gets a pass, I think Buster Posey has a lot of explaining to do when it comes to the bullpen. Risotto, as amazing as he is, he wasn't alone. There was a lot of people that could foresee what has taken place over the last 3 months.
Okay, it's wild to think that this bullpen would be this awful because for the most part, over the last, really since this ballpark opened in 2000, the Third and King Street era, Pac Bell, SBC, AT&T, Oracle, whatever you want to call it, the Giants have, for the most part, been consistently good at putting bullpens together. And heck, over the last 10 years, even during the Farhan Zaidi era, for all the sticks that we would shake at Farhan, the one thing that he was truly capable of doing was putting together a pretty good bullpen here. And it's going to sound a little crazy off the top, but I don't really blame the Giants so much for coming into this year thinking they can make it work with this bullpen. And the reason why is because they've been able to figure out ways to develop bullpens in the past, this organization. If they came into this year truly thinking that they could get a lot out of this bullpen because they believed in their ability to develop relievers at the big league level, I can see where they come to that conclusion. They've just failed colossally this year with this bullpen. And I don't think even the most pessimistic evaluator within that organization could have seen it being this much of a disaster with this bullpen. Even the most negative, prognosis from the fan base probably could not have imagined it being this comically bad.
Well, there's nothing to develop here, though. I just think that this is who these guys are. It's not as though they're going to go to another team and then be really good. I don't. There's nothing here. There's nothing left in the tank, I don't think, with these guys. What I find what stands out to me when you talk about Buster Posey, the architect of this baseball team, is that the Giants have really sort of lost their identity. And what was their identity? It was pitching and defense. And Buster was smack dab in the middle of that, which I find somewhat surprising. And now it's almost as though he's tried to overcorrect what happened with Farhan and Gabe Kapler. The platooning, Farhan not pulling the trigger on high-priced free agents. So he says, listen, I'm going to get 9 guys, and I am going to spend money. And he gets his Devers, and he gets his Adames, and he re-signs Chapman. And he doesn't pay as much attention to the bullpen, which really was hand in hand with the starting pitching as well as the defense, the key to the success when this team was on top of baseball, had that dynastic run, including that outlier in 2021. All the same, it was just enough hitting, timely hitting, and then, of course, it was about your pitching and your defense and your bullpen. And for whatever reason, Buster Posey has completely steered away, maybe inadvertently, and has now got to an area where he's really top-heavy in terms of free agents and what he thinks, quote-unquote, is talent, but he's gotten so far away from really what is the magic dust in terms of the Giants winning. So Where do we go from here? Pitching.
That's what you got to figure out. And again,
Starts tonight, maybe.
possibly, sure. They could go on a run at any point.
No. I'm talking about the draft.
Oh, that is true. The MLB draft is today. I don't know what time does that start at, Rizzo?
I think it's later today, and I don't know.
Rizzo, are they going with Jackson, Florida? Now I'm hearing that maybe they won't.
I thought they were going to be rock hard today. Rocking out.
Jackson, and there's a ton of shortstops.
It's crazy if the Giants do take Rock Chorowski, the shortstop out of UCLA. Well, it's possible. He could slip the 4. There's whispers that he could demand, a ridiculous signing bonus.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And teams like, oh, I don't want to pay for that. And then he'll fall to number 4, and that's when the Giants will. Because remember, the Giants have a little bit of extra money they can throw at draft picks because of the Pat Bailey trade, which
29th pick
could end up being a shrewd trade by Buster if everything pans out there. But Dan, by weekend's end, the Giants' top 5 prospects could all be shortstops. So I'm talking about Josar Gonzalez, obviously, Gavin Killian, Luis Hernandez. Who's the guy I'm forgetting there in that top 4? Then obviously Rock will be in there as well. Who's the guy I'm forgetting there, Rizzo, of those?
Is it Emerson?
Emerson, maybe. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, draft is today.
If Cholowski slips to the Giants, that's huge.
There's also some Bay Area guys, by the way. Spangler from De La Salle, shortstop, and then Archer Horn from St. Ignatius.
Oh, nice.
Go Cats.
So, yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on the draft. It's hard for me to really get up for the draft, though, Dan, because it's Johnny Level. That's the guy who I was forgetting there in that moment. It's hard for me to truly get up for the Major League Baseball draft, though, Dan, because it's like, all right, we got Rock. We'll see him in 3 years, I guess.
Well, no, see, that's the one thing about Rock. They're saying he could be starting for the White Sox within 8 months. Yeah, that's how fast they think this guy can be projected.
Okay. Well, yeah. It's some of these guys go faster than others, obviously. So we will see there. Listen, if he's able to contribute sooner rather than later, I'll take it at this point. Like anything that could be a help for this team would be huge. Again, because last night they go against a guy in Tanner Gordon who again came up with a 6.95 ERA, and the Giants, they faced him twice already this year. He had thrown 8 total innings across 2 starts against the Giants, giving up 9 runs. Both those starts are at Coors Field, though.
His splits are pretty bad.
Yeah, and I asked Tony about this after the game, like, how come Tanner was so much tougher this time? And he's basically like, the home road splits, and he threw a little bit of a different pitch mix at him last night. This big guy, Gordon, he doesn't throw his sinker ball a lot, but he was throwing that 2-seam sinker a lot last night. And I do think adding that extra pitch into the mix, something that the Giants had not seen all year long from this guy, maybe that threw him off a little bit. Sinkers don't really play as well at Coors Field, so just classic Coors Field. That's what happened the last time the Giants saw this guy, and it's just...
Could there not be 2 more dissimilar teams and organizations and ballparks than Colorado and San Francisco?
Oh, yeah, no, because they're opposite ends of the sea level spectrum.
Right? Colorado's 5,000 plus?
Yeah, well, exactly a mile high. That's why they got the purple ring around the top deck of the of Coors Field that marks exactly 5,280 feet above sea level.
And Oracle's about 10 feet?
Basically,
5
yeah.
feet?
I mean, the ocean's right there. The cove, I should say. I want to get that accurate. The cove is right there. The water is right there. Sea level is right there. Actually, it's funny, Dan, when you look at the numbers over the years, when the Giants go right from playing at Oracle Park to Coors Field, their pitching always gets lit up because you go from the benefit of sea level to the detriment of elevation. Yeah. Conversely, if the Rockies ever start a road trip where they are in Colorado and then start a road trip in San Francisco, their offense just falls off a cliff.
Yeah.
And you go back, I did this a few years ago, you could go back and look at the first game that the Rockies have played at Oracle Park when it was their first game of a road trip. They almost lose all the time. Whereas same thing for the Giants. When their first game is at Coors Field, they almost lose all the time. So, yeah, that difference in elevation, it rears its ugly head constantly with these two teams.
I always maintain that they shouldn't be playing baseball in Colorado. I know it sounds terrible. I know they had a couple of good runs with Tulowitzki and company, but, think about it. When you're the Giants and you're going to Colorado, it's like anything can happen. Like, you never know. Expect the unexpected. That shouldn't be the norm for a Major League Baseball team. I just don't think they took into consideration enough of the elements. You can play football. Denver Broncos are legit. And obviously basketball is basketball with the Nuggets, but it has never fit in Colorado. And I'm sort of worried about baseball in Las Vegas, whether the altitude isn't as high, but we saw that game played out at their minor league ballpark, and I'm just curious as to whether or not we're going to be experiencing something like that again, this time in the American League.
What's the elevation of Las Vegas?
It's about 3,000, I want to say.
Okay, it's not that, because I know Phoenix is pretty up there as well. It's like 1,000 to 2,000 as well. So the ball kind of carries at Chase Field in that dry desert air a little bit as well. Because, you mentioned the teams the Rockies have had success with. They've usually been very offensively driven teams.
Yeah.
And when the Rockies are a good team and they have that home field advantage at Coors Field, they're as dangerous as any team with that home field advantage. When they know they have that last at bat at Coors, that gives them a lot of confidence. So their best teams have always been built on that ability. And you look at this Rockies team right now, they have a very good looking lineup. Last weekend, Dave Fleming and Hunter Pence were gushing about these Rockies young hitters.
I like McCarthy.
McCarthy's good. Karros is Kyle Karros, Eric Karros' son.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't really like him all that much. He's been very good.
You would like Eric Karros if you ever met him.
Oh, no, I'm sure it's Dodger hate. It's not real hate.
But he's really atypical for a baseball player. He's like really well read. He really gets into he's there's a lot of depth to him. But go ahead. I understand.
But Hunter Goodman, their catcher, he's a really good hitter. Mickey Moniak, he's a solid player. Ezekiel Tovar, not the greatest hitter, but it's just a solid shortstop who, again, had that walk-off home run against the Giants last month. So the Rockies have a good core of young hitters coming along, and it's hard not to – I can't believe I'm saying this. I cannot believe I'm about to say the words that I'm about to say here. It's hard not to be a little bit jealous of the hitters they got.
So let me ask you, who's in a better situation going forward?
I
dare you. I dare you.
All right. Let's go. Let's get worked up into saying this. Let's go. Gotta be honest with ourselves here, Sam. Let's be honest. Oh my God, are the Rockies actually in a better situation? I mean, it's just the Giants, they got these 3 big contracts in Adames, Devers, and Chapman, and it feels like they're not going to be able to go anywhere as long as they got these 3 anchor contracts here, whereas the Rockies don't have anything like that. I think Chris Bryant's still on the team. I think he's still an employee of Colorado Rockies Enterprises or whatever they're called. But he's probably, if we ever see him on the field again, I'd be shocked. But they have so much young talent in this lineup, whereas the Giants, they do. Casey Schmidt, Elliot Ramos, Jung-Hoo Lee. But the Rockies it seems like they have a lineup right now that they can look at and be like, all right, these are the guys we're riding with. Where the Giants, you look at their lineup and, there's guys that you want a part of your future. Bryce Eldridge in there as well. He took a tough O for last night, though. Did draw a walk, which I'd like to see him getting on base. But I guess I'm curious right now, how many Giants fans would want to swap lineups with the Rockies right now? I actually don't think it would be that many, but I'm sure there's some out there that would. I'm
trying to be impartial here. I still lean towards San Francisco, and I like to think of this year sort of like that of the Atlanta Braves of a year ago, where it's just one of those weird blips. You can't really explain it, and it's still a good lineup, but for whatever reason, they're not winning. And you saw what, of course, Atlanta did last year, essentially with the exact same personnel into what it is that they're doing this year. I still think that San Francisco is in a better situation, and I like the nucleus of their team, maybe again because I'm closer to it. I still think Colorado is Colorado at the end of the day. Yeah, they have some young prospects, but it's still, it's the same old mantra with them. We're about 2 or 3 years away. We're going on decades.
Well, the problem with the Rockies, why I don't see them ever taking that next step, and maybe right now, the Rockies look like they're in a better position than the Giants, especially coming off that loss last night. The Rockies are never going to be able to make it work pitching-wise. And also, that's an organization. Say what you will about how the Giants are as an organization. This has been an ugly year for the Giants in terms of just how they operate as an organization. They are a more stable franchise than the Rockies.
Oh, no doubt.
And so, are the Rockies in a better position right now at this very moment, Saturday, July 11th at 9:24 in the morning? Sure. Maybe they have a more exciting lineup in that you kind of see a future and a direction with that lineup, whereas the Giants lineup, I think the future and the direction's a little bit more murky. If you had to ask me, put $100 right now, who plays a playoff game next, the Giants or the Rockies? Yeah, I'm throwing that money on the Giants.
How about something a little bit more pertinent? Who's going to finish higher?
Let's get into that on the other side, because a news story broke yesterday, Dan, about a certain player who's up for an extension with a certain baseball team that plays at the corner of 3rd and King. And honestly, there might be a case to be made that you don't need to trade Luis Arias.
All right.
We'll get into that on this side. Plus, I do want to hear from Dylan Smith on the other side. We're also going to hear from Tony Vitale. We got to talk a little bit more about that 9th inning as well. Yeah. So We'll get to all that starting on the other side. Don't forget Ron Washington, my chat with him. That's coming up at 11 o'clock. Got a lot of stuff to talk about on the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. It's our final show before the All-Star break. We got a home run derby set, Dan. I don't know, maybe we'll pick a winner there. And you see what Bryce Harper suggested they should do for the home run derby?
He got snubbed, didn't he?
Actually, I haven't seen the field yet, but...
Go ahead, sorry.
But no, he suggests that when they break out the gold balls, that they use aluminum bats.
Oh, wow. I kind of like it.
So, anyway, we'll talk about all that. Plus, I also got the 5 worst losses of the first half for the Giants.
Oh, wow. That's doing some homework.
Oh, it was not a very hard list to put together. On the other side, brought to you by Fairmont Bank, here for you, here for good.
Grass-fed ribeyes.
Yes, chef.
Responsibly sourced salmon that was never frozen.
Yes, chef.
Restaurant quality steaks.
Yes, chef.
Organic chicken.
Yes, chef.
Wild-caught seafood.
Yes, chef.
At Sprouts, every cut is handpicked for flavor, freshness, and quality worthy of the chef at home. Even if your toughest critic still needs a booster seat.
More steak, please.
Yes, chef.
Sprouts Farmers Market.
Honey, did you invite the minions over?
Well, you know how we talked about getting Wi-Fi from Xfinity?
Yeah.
I ordered it this morning, was online in minutes, then they showed up.
So they just came over to use the Wi-Fi?
They even brought their own devices and spell book.
You didn't give them the new Wi-Fi password, right?
No.
That's good.
I gave them our old one. Because Xfinity lets us keep the same network name and password so devices connect instantly.
What do they want Wi-Fi for anyways?
Better not to know. Plausible deniability.
Get streaming or scheming instantly with same-day Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Plus, lock in one price for the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi for 5 years. Guaranteed. And see Minions and Monsters only in theaters. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
FlexCar, we know radio ads are annoying, but not as annoying as car salesmen.
Sign here, please.
Never talk to one again with FlexCar, the first and only month-to-month car lease.
No, submit to my extortion machine.
Insurance and maintenance included. Switch cars anytime.
Switching Bronco to Camry to tell you ride willy-nilly. Oh, no.
Oh, yes. FlexCar. You drive everything.
Hey, it's Dan Dibley from 95.7 The Game. I'll be at Bay Street, Emeryville on Sunday, July 19th for the final, and I would love to see you there. Match day festivities begin at 11:30, whistle blows at noon, and there's no better place to watch than the giant plaza screen and terrace TVs. Come grab some great food, meet me and 95.7 The Game crew, and enjoy an incredible match day atmosphere. Get details at baystreetemeryville.com/events.
J Vineyards returns as the official sparkling wine of the Golden State Valkyries, continuing its mission to uplift women across industries. J Vineyards and the Valkyries share a commitment to female leadership, ambition, and breaking barriers to support women who raise the bar in sports and beyond. So Valks fans, join us at the game, at home, or at Jay's Tasting Room in Healdsburg for a memorable experience. J Vineyards, raise a glass to excellence, on the court and in every bottle.
All guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line.
Dub Nation, this is Jimmy Butler, and you never know when I'll be on the River Islands guest line.
Dub Nation, this is Stephen Curry, and you never know when I'll be on the River Islands guest line. So make sure to keep it locked on 95.7 The Game.
River Islands in Lathrop is the best-selling master plan community in all of Northern California. With its lakes, parks, trails, and collection of new home neighborhoods, the good life can be your life. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands?
If you're still arguing with your buddies about who's winning Saturday's UFC main event with Conor McGregor, stop guessing and start trading your prediction on Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. Trade against other fans, not the house. Whether you're predicting this weekend's UFC action, confident in McGregor taking down Holloway, or calling the biggest moments in sports, Polymarket lets you put your take to the test. Download the Polymarket app and use promo code BLAZE to unlock $50 free for your first trade. That's promo code BLAZE. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply. why.
When it comes to decking, TimberTech stands out. It's the best-looking decking you'll find on the market, trusted by contractors for its unbeatable quality. But TimberTech isn't just about looking great today. Thanks to its advanced technology and unparalleled durability, the TimberTech decks you build will still look amazing decades from now. Add in industry-leading warranties, and it's clear why TimberTech is the top choice. Build with confidence. Build with TimberTech, the #1 brand in premium decking. Find it locally at Ashby Lumber.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I am grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Line drive, center field. And did he catch it? Somebody make the call. They're going to say he did catch it.
I don't know if he did catch it.
Well, the out call was made by the first base umpire.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Sam Lohman here alongside Dan Devone. Giants lose 4-3, and just another disaster loss in a season that is full of them. With the loss, Giants are just...
Want to talk about that play that we just heard coming in?
Yeah, let's get into that play there, Dan, because that was one of the, by the way, Giants 39-55. I was trying to find their record there. Same number of wins as the Colorado Rockies. They are only 2 games ahead of the Rockies in that loss column, so that puts them officially 1 game up on the Rockies in the standings. A loss today would put the Giants officially, I believe, let me pull up the standings here to make sure. Yes, into a tie for last place in the National League. So this is the National League's toilet bowl, basically, this weekend here. Yeah, let's talk about that play last night in the bottom of the 9th inning. Casey Schmidt is up, hits a blooper out to center field there that falls in front of Cole Caring. He makes a sliding catch there, and at first when I saw it, Dan, I thought he caught the ball. I look at the second base umpire, and he's doing nothing. I think it was what's my guy's name? Our second base umpire. I'm spacing on his name at the moment. There, I called him out last night. I'll try and find that in a little bit, but he's just standing there, not doing anything. No call, just watching the play. Like, whoa, that was pretty cool. That was a really nice catch. Am I supposed to do something? I don't know. And Graham McRae, who's on second base, is looking at the umpire like, what are we doing here? There's just complete confusion. Casey Schmidt's at first base with Luis Arias. So you got 2 guys on the base there. They throw the base at first. They throw to third for the force out, I guess. And in that brief moment, like, the game would have been over. And there's a stoppage in play. And Tony goes out to have a conversation with it. Dan, I don't know, were you watching that last night? What was going through your mind when I was going down?
It was just that. It was absolute chaos. Like, somebody's got to step up and make a call here. What's going on? So I begin to wonder, maybe I just take it a little bit too far here. I don't know, does instant replay play a part of this? That maybe you're either hesitant to make the call or you're reliant on replay? Because back in the day, you make a definitive call. Umpires do not simply not make it. You can get the call wrong,
yes,
right? But you
got to do something, right?
Be completely indifferent and not make a call. I'm just wondering if there's other extenuating factors now in Major League Baseball that is, it's not a trend, but maybe that lent to what happened last night.
Yeah, William Trainer, by the way, thank you, Risotto, for getting in my ear on that one. I was screaming his name all last night, and then, of course, this morning it escapes me.
This gets back to you when middle inning relievers don't do well. we go after them. But, of course, when they do, we don't say a word. Same thing with umpires. All of a sudden, trainers getting run only because he screwed up.
Well, I guess so what happened there on that play, and I didn't see this happen because I'm looking at the second base umpire for the call because he's the umpire closest to the play there.
He's running out to center field.
He has the best view. I'm literally, Dan, the umpire's standing like if you're Cole carrying, I'm the umpire, and it's not this close, but like I'm staring right at you. I have the view of it. And for him to just not make a call there, I've never seen it. Crew Chief Lance Barksdale, who's the first base umpire this time, he did make the call. He signaled out, which, again, I thought it was an out, too, from where I was standing. And the replay clearly showed that the ball hit the grass before Carring trapped it in his glove. It was a very easy replay to fix. Luckily, they did make the right call, and here is how that sounded.
Here's what I saw. He's signaling it's an out. But if he signals it's an out for a catch, but the ball isn't actually caught, then it's a no catch. And if that's the case, the game's over on a double
After
play.
review, the call on the field is overturned. There is no catch. Based on the reaction of the fielders, one on the call, and the runners, we're moving each runner up one base. Will be the bases loaded.
So there you go. How about that? Bases loaded.
And there we go. We got our bases loaded there. And
screwed the Rockies, if you think about it.
Well, it was the right call.
Yeah, but the Rockies could have got the force.
Well, I think if the second base umpire, if he rules him safe, then Grant McCray easily takes third there because he has the speed there to make it happen. Arias, I believe, was about halfway there. So, no, I think in that situation, I think you still have bases loaded. I don't think it screwed the Rockies over too much. I don't know if he would have gotten the force there if the call was ruled correctly in that situation.
Because everybody had to freeze, and you have no idea. I don't know. It's sort of a stop and start from McCray. Does he make it to third? Because that's pretty shallow center field, and you certainly don't want to get doubled up in that situation.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of uncertainty, and more often than not, I've seen plays where the runner I'm not sure what to do, and you get caught up in no man's land. And you get that force out either.
Oh no, absolutely. I think it. So McCray, he was a few feet off second, but he's a faster runner. So I think if he doesn't need to take as big of a step off the base to play it safe. Arias is about somewhere between halfway and a quarter from first base. I do think that both of them would have gotten to their requested bases in that situation had the call actually had been made. So, and after the game, obviously we asked Tony about it. We asked Grant about it. Here is what Tony Vitello had to say about that whole hit that wasn't a hit but was a hit.
Well, the second base umpire didn't make a call. It was the first base umpire, so the call was out. So the two runners did a pretty good job of not panicking, doing anything crazy, but they both retreated to the bag because of the out call, not necessarily what they saw with their eyes. So the replay, first of all, they wanted to communicate, make sure they were all on the same page. And then the replay was to see if the ball was caught or not. So if it was not caught, everybody would move up safely a base with the hitter occupying first base. If it was caught, to my understanding, it just would have been an out. Both guys retreated back to the bags.
So I will say this with McCray and Arias. I honestly thought they played it perfectly. When in doubt, just go back to the base that you were at. I think that was the safest move to do there, especially it did look like a catch in real time. And so I do like the fact that, Tony said they did not panic. They made the right move there. And a team that has had so many base running gaffes this year, kind of refreshing change of pace to see them play that one kind of perfectly on the base paths.
Well, I'm not sure where were they going to go. Like, was McCray going to try and score on that thing? I mean, like,
I don't know if he would have been able to come around and score. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying there was so much uncertainty. Yeah. Where are you going to go? Like, no one's going to advance to another bag thinking that he caught it, and we're in the ninth inning here. I don't think that there was real. I mean, yeah, we can give credit to the base runners, but I think that's sort of a no-brainer. Anybody would have done that, right? Like,
there's
where are you going to go? Do you think really somebody would have just taken off?
Dan, it's this.
Aside from Ruben Rivera, I don't know.
That's the worst base running in the history of the game. Dan, it's the 2026 Giants. If there's ever a team that's going to find a way to screw up that situation, it probably would have been that one, but they didn't. Yeah. And so we could at least rest easy knowing that in that one wacky situation, I thought Arias and Grant McCray played that situation rather as well as you could have. But then you had several minutes of confusion there, and I was like stomping around the press box, stomping around. I was pacing around the press box, just being like, how do you not make a call there? Like, what are we doing here? And this is already at a ninth inning that was like going on 40 minutes long. It's late. I'm tired. Everyone wants to go home. There's a fireworks show afterwards, and it's just so many unnecessary delays in that ninth inning. In fact, the top of the ninth inning, there was another delay. I forget who was at the plate. I don't know if it was Mickey Moniak or it might have been Willie Castro in that top of the ninth inning there. Who was? I think it was Moniak, where the first pitch, they reviewed it to see if it was a strike or a foul tip. But, like, it's a strike either way. What are we reviewing here?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that one at all, but it is what it is. So it's already a really long ninth inning. It's already a really confusing ninth inning. And, again, luckily, they did make the right call. If they had ruled them out or worse, like ruled a force out, game over, I honestly think you would have seen a riot at that ballpark last night. Because, like, come on, you could not end a game like that with an umpire not making a call and then ruling these guys out because your umpire doesn't make a call. Luckily, that's not the reality that we had to experience last night.
So when you get two teams like that, Colorado and San Francisco, clearly two of the worst teams in Major League Baseball this year, do you also get the worst umpiring crew? Is that sort of how it works?
Well, Lance Barksdale is one of the better umpires out there. The other guys, Ryan Wills, Trainer, Will Little, I don't know a whole lot about them. Maybe if we can get our guy Ruderman to call in. I shot him a text saying...
Ruderman replay coming up today, brought to you by...
I would love to hear Ruderman's replay call of that one last night. So we'll get him on hopefully at some point. I sent out the bat signal for him. I texted him, Steven, Dan is summoning you. So we'll see if he...
Bottom line is you cannot... Why are you there if you're not making a call?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you doing? What's your role here? Like, why'd you get out of bed?
And heads up to crew chief Lance Barksdale again for making a call. Because at least you got to make a call there. Even if it's the wrong call, you have the ability to correct these calls now because of replay. But I guess I was tipped off, and shout out to my girl at NBC, Lauren Johnson. She told me this. She's like, apparently it was a different umpiring crew last night than it was the night before, which you don't usually see different umpiring crews change in the midst of a series.
Yeah, that's odd.
So they had one umpiring crew on Thursday night, and then they had this whole new crew last night. So I don't know why that was the case there or how much of a role that plays in what happened last night. I mentioned Grant McCrae. He was the guy on second base. He also had a pretty good view of it. Here's his recollection of how that whole thing went down.
Well, I saw it off the bat and, I froze and I saw, him lay out for it and I didn't think he caught it, but the umpire at second base, he didn't give a call. So I just panicked and went back to the bag and I was like, dude, like, what's the call? What's the call? And he didn't say anything. So I was just standing there confused. Just glad he didn't catch it and I didn't run into a double play or something.
Well, first off, I love the idea of Grant looking at the umpire and be like, dude, what's the call?
I would have loved to see the umpires.
Well, then what? He just doesn't say anything. So he's just standing there just like,
does he?
Like, how do you not say anything? How do you at least look at him and just like, calls out, say it? Like, say something.
Are there ever any post comments from umpires in situations like this?
No.
I know they don't adjust the media, but is there some governing body that will release some sort of a I know they'll do it in the NFL and the NBA.
Like a last 2-minute report.
Yeah, but
in the
I'm
NBA.
curious, is there any sort of checks and balances here? Because you need some sort of an explanation.
Who polices the police kind of thing.
Yeah, what if that could have gotten really ugly? You need some sort of a...
Especially, again, if they had been ruled out, or worse, if the game had been ruled over, in part because, Willie Trainer doesn't make a call there and creates this, confusion, and the team suffers because of an umpire's inability to do their job. That's about as bad as it gets. We're in this age where so many people are trying to, or want to see the phasing out of umpires from the game, and I'm very much against that. I want umpires. I like to yell at umpires. Mm-hmm. It is very much a part of the game. But it makes it so much easier to say, well, we don't need those guys when you see moments like that happen. It's just a bad umpiring situation, just quite frankly.
Well, I don't know that an umpire makes any sort of difference there when it comes to replays, because either way, you're going to consult the replay and there's going to be confusion, right? So not knowing it's a catch, it was almost as if, it was almost as if there were no umpires to begin with because you were going to rely on replay regardless. that the replay was making that call. Certainly the guy on the field didn't do it. So
well, that's what I'm saying. If the umpire can make the call and give some clarity there, then it is on the umpire there. Then the umpires are doing their jobs. And to your point there, Dan, when you're basically just you're going right to the replay, and you just said, I think perfectly yourself, it's like the umpire's not even there. The replay is making the call in that situation. And there it's like, well, this is why people don't want umpires.
Yeah.
Because if they're not going to make the call, the technology is going to do that for them. It becomes so much easier to say, well, what do we need you guys for? And for a profession that is very much being threatened for its existence, that's a bad look for umpiring. Now, that could be the moment that breaks the camel's back, the straw that breaks the camel's back and ends umpiring. No. But if you're of the mindset that you want umpires phased out, there you go. You got another example to add to your case to make against umpires last night.
It's just inexplicable.
Mm-hmm.
Say, give me something.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't see it, even if you're going to blow it, you got, Can
you imagine if, in football, Brock Purdy hits Ricky Pearsall in the back of the end zone and none of the refs do anything with their arms? Or Steph Curry hits a contested three and the ref and gets knocked down in the process and the ref does absolutely nothing. Actually, wait, that's been most of Steph's career, so maybe that's not a great example there. But you know what I mean, though, is just what kind of reminds me of is the Fail Mary from years ago in what was that Monday night game with I think it was Aaron Rodgers who threw that pass.
Oh,
it was Packers Seahawks or something like that.
Yeah.
And one ref does touchdown, the other ref does no catch. Next thing you know, the replacement refs were gone and the real refs were back. It's kind of one of those things. Just bad officiating there. Hey, Grant, has that ever happened to you before?
No, not in my career. I've never seen it, but he really just stood there, cold as a fish, and I'm just glad I made the right decision.
Cold as a fish. I love that line.
Who's working on the car in the background?
So there's a little equipment room just so you go in the clubhouse, to your right is some lockers, and there's a little equipment room there off to the side of the clubhouse. And they're working on, I think they're working on bats, cleats, stuff like that. But yeah, that's what you hear drilling in the background is the equipment guys working on their cleats and bats.
What do you think of McCray coming up? Are you McCray kind of?
I like Graham McCray. He's a good guy. I chat with him a little bit in spring training. He was from South Florida, so he saw my Miami jacket, so we talked a little Miami Hurricanes football. And you know me, that if you want to talk Canes football with me, we're in. We're friends at that point.
So I have a larger question that you just mentioned that. Do you think, because this used to happen to me, because I see things from afar, but when you are as close to the players, and you seem to be you'd be more willing to give Tony Vitello the benefit of the doubt than I would. Do you think because you have a relationship with him or you like him from a personality standpoint, the same with McCray, sort of clouds your judgment when it comes to things like that?
Well, this is why I'll never be a beat writer, Dan. I can openly admit, I'm never going to have that unbiasedness that beat writers have. I always give Steven Risotto grief because he won't wear a jersey to a Giants game. Which, Risotto, you were at the game last night in the stands? You were a civilian?
I was in the Gotham Club.
Ooh, Mr. Swanky over here. What were you wearing?
A flannel.
Of course you were.
Of course.
You were born in a flannel.
What hat were you wearing?
I was actually not wearing a hat.
Oh, the rare hatless night from Steven Risotto. I have never seen this guy wearing a Giants jersey. You grew up a Giants fan, though, right, Rizzo?
I did. I don't think I own a Giants jersey right now.
How'd you get into the Gotham Club?
Actually, a few friends of mine who I've done podcasts with in the past, it's all about connections. Brooks Knudsen had a ticket, and we all just got in there and hung out, and it was fun.
Is the Gotham Club in the stadium? It is, right?
It is in the stadium and in the arcade.
Under Levi's Landing.
Under Levi's Landing, inside. So we were right literally by the people that were doing the out-of-town scoreboard.
Is it kind of swanky? What's the crowd like?
Very swanky, very upper class.
Was anyone else wearing flannel?
There was one other guy wearing the same flannel, and I grabbed on his flannel, and I said, "Nice flannel." And then he was like, "Yeah, man, and I was like, "Costco?"
What are you talking to me for?
I was like, "Costco?" He's like, "Yep, Costco."
Oh my God, you're buying shirts at Costco. That's beautiful.
You can get some good deals at Costco.
Can you get me into the Gotham Club? Sounds like something.
No, because I got in with someone myself. So
he's not one of the someones you got to know.
And in fact, they asked me if I was a member or if I was a pinch hitter. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I say pinch hitter because I'm not a member.
Yeah, I think the flannel's a dead giveaway that you're pinch hitting tonight.
We can probably wear a jersey into the Gotham Club.
Shut up.
Not that Risotto ever would. But so actually, there was a couple weeks ago, he was at a game. He's in the stands with his lovely girlfriend, Adriana. And I go over and say what's up to him. And this dude, he's wearing his 95-7 The Game sweatshirt. Meanwhile, she's all decked out in her Giants gear. I'm like, how come she has this down, but you don't? But anyway.
I have had a good experience with that 95-7 The Game hoodie at the ballpark. One time I was with Mark Grandy and Ken Luttrell, producer extraordinaires, and somebody came up to us and said, I love 95-7 The Game. Do you know Joe Shasky? He's my guy.
Oh, wow.
And we took off. I told him we worked there, and he loved us.
That's my Shasky impersonation. I've had people come up to me and say that exact same thing, actually. Interesting. People like Joe Shasky. He's a fun guy. So, but anyway, yeah.
Well,
bringing this back to the initial point, I can openly admit that I have a bias. I still cover this team, I believe, as a fan. Like, I can never do what Justice De Los Santos and Shayna Rubin and Evan Wiebeck, what they do, because they can remove their bias and do their job in an impartial way. That's just not my style. So, yeah, I am in there as a fan, and you got to play it cool, obviously. There's a line that you don't want to cross. As far as like the building relationships, stuff like that, you're like, I've come to really like Matt Gage this year because, getting to know him a little bit in spring training, it's like, yeah, you're a cool guy. I'm going to root for you. Like you get Stan status now. Like I want to see you succeed. So yeah, like you do chat with these guys. You get to know them a little bit. Does it make criticizing them a little bit harder? Yeah, sure. At times you got to go about it in a correct way. Like when Logan Webb has a rough week, like he did this week, just got to be coming out and honest and say, like, yeah, he had a rough week. And Logan's always very blunt and honest about assessing his performance. And if you are going to criticize these guys, you got to do it in a way that isn't personal. Keep it professional, keep it business, keep it strictly to what happens between the lines. And that's how you create that balance.
Yeah, I guess my question is, do you feel as though it compromises sometimes when you come on here and you're passing judgment on a particular manager or a player, and whether or not you can see it through an objective lens, which obviously you said you're compromised from the get-go. So
yeah, I still think I can be honest about the situation. Like I don't know if I'm ever gonna come on and go like on a 2.5 minute long rant, screaming and ranting and raving about how awful I think everyone on this team is. Part of it is also biased or unbiased. Like there's a lot of shows I do where right afterwards I'm going to the ballpark and I'm going to be in that clubhouse with these guys. So I'm not going to say something like, oh, Logan Webb, you're absolutely trash, blah, 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 and then go into that clubhouse and have to face him right afterwards, because that just creates an awkward situation that I'm not trying to be in. So I don't think it prevents me from offering criticism to the team, but I definitely have to be more tact in how I go about giving out that criticism. You're allowed to criticize these guys. They're professional athletes. They're paid millions of dollars. They know it's part of the job. So, yeah, I'll support them a little bit more maybe than some, but I'll be honest, just maybe not as flamboyantly as others might.
And I think to Tony Vitello's credit, because he is such a nice guy, and because regardless of all of the losing, he treats everybody's pretty much the same, and he doesn't lose his cool, that a lot of people are willing, whether they're aware of it or not, to give him the benefit of the doubt. There's a lot of knives out, obviously, going after a manager when you have the sort of team with the expectations that the Giants had coming into the season, especially with him coming out of the collegiate ranks. So there's definitely critics, but I think he's been able to stave. It could be a lot worse, I guess is what I'm saying. And I think sort of his personality has been able to sort of work in his advantage, because I think being a nice guy, just think about it if he was a little prickly or if he wasn't as attractive as I always like to bring up. I
pretty
think
privileged.
A lot worse. And I just think that sometimes people, whether they're conscious of it or not, are a little bit reserved in their criticism of him, because we don't like to go after people that are we think are or perceive as being genuinely good people.
I would agree with that. I mean, I think he's put on a pretty good relationship with the media so far. I think some media members like him more than other media members do. I think there's certain media members that like him less than other media members do. Bob Melvin, I think, had a good relationship with the media because he's been around these media members for so long. Gabe Kapler, I thought it was hit and miss, but then whenever he comes back with the Marlins, all the beat writers go up and converse with him and chat with him like they're old friends. So, but yeah, when you have a good relationship with the media, that they're going to cover you a little bit differently. When you're a jerk to them, they're going to come after you a little bit. That's why the pen is mightier than the sword, as they say. So, and I think in this region, we've like Kyle Shanahan. I mean, it's the NFL. He's always been kind of prickly with the media. NFL's a different relationship. But Steve Kerr has always been pretty good with the media, and the media contingent that covers the Warriors has a lot of respect for Kerr. So I think that comes out in their coverage as well. That being said, though, Tony does have a good relationship with the media, but I don't think that's going to stop the media from pointing out obvious flaws with the team or obvious flaws with his managing. I also think the reason Tony gets good treatment from the media is because the beat contingent is aware enough to know that these issues go so far beyond anything Tony is doing that it's kind of hard to crush Tony for reasons he can't really control.
Yeah, I think it goes beyond just the beat writers and the people that cover the Giants on a daily basis that have that sort of intimate relationship and the intimate access. I think just from fans, when you're watching the Giants and you see him in a press conference or you see sound bites, whether it's online or wherever it is that you gather your information, you see that his demeanor is sort of, it's like a nice guy, whether you're aware of it or not, because it could be a lot worse when you're talking to the average fan. What's wrong with the Giants? You know, their ire is directed in 35 different directions, including Buster Posey and Devers and Adames or whomever. And of course, Vitello is thrown into there. But I think that it could be a lot worse for Tony Vitello if he wasn't as nice, at least perceived as being the sort of nice guy that he is.
Yeah, again, I think being the nice guy certainly helps. I would push back on that's the determining factor of why he gets positive coverage. I think it's just there's just so much.
I wouldn't say it's positive at this point. I'm just saying
he's not going to be worse. He's not going to get dragged as much. Believe me, there are members of the media who you see it in some of the stuff they write. I'm not going to name any names, Athletic, but you see it every now and then, just little lines here and there about mentioning, he was a first-time manager. And so there are little small shots you see here and there. But again, in a season like that, he's going to take small shots here and there from everybody. So on the other side, I want to hear from Dylan Smith and also Luis Arias. He wants an extension, apparently. Let's get into that. It's the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap, brought to you by Fremont Bank. Here for you, here for good.
Hey, it's Dan Dibley. Fight night is here, and there's no better place to trade the action than Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform. Right now, Conor McGregor is trading at 35% to win the big fight, meaning a $100 trade would pay out $266 if he was able to go out and win that bout. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use the code DIBS, D-I-B-S, and you get $10 when you trade 10. K-A-L-S-H-I, Kalshi. Trade on anything. 18 and over only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those that were mentioned here. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
Now through July 26th at Big O Tires, get $200 in savings on 4 select Michelin or VF Goodrich in-stock tires with installation purchase. Disposal fees extra. Savings include $120 instant plus $80 rebate. Not good with other offers. See Big O dealer for pricing.
There are things the insurance company hopes you never find out, like how quickly they try to close your case, how they look for anything you say to use against you, and how the first offer is almost never the full value of your claim. Because the faster they settle, the less they have to pay. That's not a coincidence. That's their strategy. So before you call them back, call Beam Law. From the first call, they'll take over. They handle the pressure, the negotiations, and the legal fight so you don't get pushed into a decision you can't undo. Beam Law has recovered millions for clients across the Bay Area and has been named Best of the Bay by SF Weekly 4 times. So if you've been injured or lost someone due to someone else's negligence, don't wait. Call Beam Law now at 415-523-5555. 415-523-5555. That's 415-523-5555. Or visit hurtinthebay.com. That's hurtinthebay.com, because it's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get back up. Beam Law, they've got your back, Bay Area.
Radio Day by the Bay is back at Alameda on Saturday, July 18th at Radio Central. Join the California Historical Radio Society for a full day of live DJs, live bands, vintage radio shows, museum tours, and more. Celebrate the magic of radio with fellow fans, families, and collectors at this one-of-a-kind community event. For complete details, visit chrsradio.org/Radio Day.
This is an urgent health alert from for anyone who cut, ground, or polished engineered stone countertops. If you worked with quartz or artificial stone slabs, brands like Caesar Stone, Silestone, or Cambria, and now suffer from shortness of breath, a chronic cough, or have been diagnosed with silicosis or lung disease, you may qualify for significant compensation. Go to govictory63.com now for a free, completely confidential case review. Your information stays private. No one contacts your employer without your permission. Stone fabricators across the country are coming forward. Lawsuits allege manufacturers knew their high silica products were causing devastating lung disease in workers and failed to warn. Verdicts have already reached millions of dollars. Go to govictory63.com now for your free, confidential case review. If you've worked with engineered stone and your lungs aren't what they used to be, act now. Filing deadlines apply. Visit govictory63.com for your free, confidential review. That's govictory63.com. This is a paid advertisement for legal services by the Goldwater Law Firm in Phoenix, Arizona. Primary legal services performed by co-counsel law firms. For additional disclaimers, go to goldwaterlawfirm.com.
If you're still arguing with your buddies about who's winning Saturday's UFC main event with Conor McGregor, stop guessing and start trading your prediction on Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. Trade against other fans, not the house. Whether you're predicting this weekend's UFC action, confident in McGregor taking down Holloway, or calling the biggest moments in sports, Polymarket lets you put your take to the test. Download the Polymarket app and use promo code BLAZE to unlock $50 free for your first trade. That's promo code BLAZE. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. No, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever. Now with odor fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Sniff the difference.
Join 95.7 The Game at the Miristar Federal Credit Union Stuff the Bus event, a backpack drive supporting Bay Area student success July 18th in San Jose from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Help us make an impact in our community. Get all the details and donate now at 957thegame.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Let me tell you about the Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite. It's bright, it's bubbly, it's back.
The Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich, it's so rich, and you can choose between the original or the spicy filet.
Ooh, boy.
And then you got those pickled jalapenos tucked right under the filet, and then just to top it all off, you've got a little honey drizzle right on top.
Okay, now I'm a pimento fan.
And I'm feeling the dragon fruit.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Pretty good night. He hits it high. He hits it deep. He hits it out of here. 3 lifetime home runs.
Now back to the best Giants talk in the Bay. The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Dwayne Kuiper on the call there. Rafi Devers with his 19th home run of the year. Rafi Devers had all the RBIs for the Giants last night. He was the offense, and no, he did not talk to the media afterwards, so we couldn't blow those out of proportion with him last night.
He took over the team lead in home runs, didn't he, from Casey Schmidt?
I believe he did. He's been red hot, Rafi Devers,
I'd still
over the last month plus. And it's one of those, he has nights like that. It's like, oh, should we? I don't know. By the way, baseball coverage on 95.7 The Game is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi, one price, 5 years guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that. I want to talk about Luis Arias in just a moment. We talk about all the trade candidates in just a moment.
Actually, you know what you could do is maybe just literally go around every position and see whether they're a trade candidate or not.
Well, actually, we'll play a little game with that in a minute, because we did that on the morning roast the other day. Okay. We played a little game called Building Block or Trading Block. I want to play it maybe with you here, Dan, because it was a fun little exercise we did on Thursday morning, but you and I could play it because then we can have our own opinions that are separate from the Joes. We can do the same what the Joes do, or we're just going to do a little bit better. But before we do that, though, I do want to give Dylan Smith some flowers last night. And the reason why, Dan, I mentioned this in the last hour, but for those who missed it, a few years ago when Jordan Hicks was on the Giants, I interviewed him for Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys, and he was, trying to make the transition from reliever to starter, and I was asking him about that transition, and he mentioned for relievers, the media loves to talk to them when things go wrong, and they never want to talk to relievers when they do their job and things go right. We do that with starting pitchers when things go right. We do it with hitters when things go right. Why don't we do it with relievers? And that always stuck out to me. And I've always wanted to be like, I got to find ways to celebrate relievers when they do something good. So Dylan Smith in the 6th inning last night comes in with the bases loaded and nobody out. Robbie Ray walked the bases loaded. Not a great situation. And I tweeted out in that moment, Robbie Ray just walked the bases loaded. Good luck, Dylan Smith. Because that's just not a fun situation to be in. So he comes in, gets 2 quick outs, and here's how he got out of that 6th inning.
Runners will be on the move. Get on the ground on one hop. And that'll end the inning. Robbie Ray is going to give Dylan Smith the biggest hug you've ever seen.
And that he did there. Dylan Smith gets out of the inning, and at that point, it seemed like, wow, this could be the moment of the night right there. Like, I'm writing down my notebook. Let's make sure we ask about Dylan Smith after the game because that could be the big story. In fact, at one point, Justin Taylor Santos, who covers the Giants for the Bay Area News Group, he came over and he's like, I think I might make that the story, but if I do, I'm worried the bullpen might blow it. And that was foreshadowing right there. So, Jimmy, Justice, he's seen enough of this misery this year. He knew where it was going right away. So that was a really cool moment there. So, yeah, I went in and had a conversation with Dylan after the game, and here's how that conversation sounded.
Yeah, so coming in 6th inning, bases loaded, no outs, that's never a fun situation. Just walk me through what the emotions were like in that inning for you.
For me, it was just to stay calm, go out there and attack the hitter, give him my best stuff, and don't do too much, I feel like sometimes when you get in those situations, you can do a little too much, and then that's when things kind of go left. Mm-hmm. So just kind of keeping my composure up there and making the pitches that I need to make.
How fired up were you when you got that 3rd out?
Well, I was very fired up because I know it gives us a chance every time you go out there and you can dominate the zone. And, when the space is loaded and you go out there and you put up 3 outs in a row, that's big. You never know what can happen. That can spark momentum in the offense and for us.
What was it like sharing that moment with Robbie when we got back into the dugout?
It was awesome because he worked his butt off, today, and he had that inning that just kind of got away from him. But other than that, he's pitched well, and I wanted to make sure, that's how he finished.
So good on you, Dylan Smith, coming in, getting the job done there. Unfortunately, it couldn't have been a bigger moment because of...
Did he appreciate you for doing that?
I think he did, yeah. He understood. Because, no one ever goes and talks to the relievers. So, it's been such Dan, it's just been such a miserable season. We're at the All-Star break almost. We got 2 more games. And I feel like I'm in a position where, I love this team. I've been a fan of this team since I was 7 years old. I'm always going to be a fan of this team. I'm not going to abandon it or anything like that. I'm still going to go to these games the rest of the season, whether we're talking about the Giants at this station or not. The Niners, they're going to have a couple Sunday games in September at home, and I'm going to be at the ballpark watching the Giants, doing whatever nonsense they're going to be doing that day, because that is how I operate. I always say, Dan, real fandom is forged in the dark times. Anyone can be a fan when times are good. And so I'm going to stick it out with this team no matter what. But, God, part of me at the same time is just like, can we just end this now? Well, I don't want to do a whole second half of this.
Dylan Smith he's been pretty good, aside from that hiccup in Colorado, essentially.
I mean, when he first got here, everyone's like, hey, could he be the closer? Yeah. His only we laughed about this on the morning show. His qualification is he hasn't blown anything yet.
Yeah, right.
He's a solid guy, solid closer, good guy. Again, I met him. Seems like a nice guy, enough guy. But he's like everyone else in this bullpen. There's just a lot of nights where things just don't go well. And I think in a season like this, you got to find opportunities to really embrace the good moments. Bryce Eldridge hit his first splash hit the other night. Giants won the game, but I remember thinking when Bryce hit that splash hit, number 109, which he did get that ball back, by the way. Someone did return his splash hit to him. So I guess that means McCovey Cove Day did not get his hands on that splash hit.
First of the season. Isn't that pretty deep into the campaign without a splash hit?
Oh, they've got a whole year without a splash hit one time.
Really?
I've actually, you know what? They were stuck on splash hit 68 for over a year.
Wow.
I believe. Then they got splash hit 69. Nice. And then the next day they got splash hit 70. So like it's weird with how long these droughts go. Risotto, can I throw a little homework assignment at you? Can you find me the longest drought of splash hits? Because I'm pretty sure it was 68 to 69, but I want to confirm that there. But yeah, they've gone an entire season without a splash hit before. So, but anyway, so yeah, Bryce hits that splash hit the other night. I'm thinking, well, you know what? This game's a win either way. Because Bryce hit a home run. I'm feeling good. Win or lose, I'm going to make this a happy night. And they ended up winning, going away that night. So it was a double happy night.
That's where we're at these days, huh? In terms of trying to locate something to cheer about with the San Francisco Giants. What did you think of Bryce coming up to the plate with the bases juice last night? Was there thoughts of what happened a couple of weeks back?
Oh, I'm thinking, Bryce could make the season again. I'm thinking Joe Shatsky's going to record another video that we're going to have for us to play this morning. The future. Everything for the next 15 years. My son's asleep upstairs. And I'm getting all these illusions of Grounder. Nope. Grounder to second. First pitch.
The future. He's asleep upstairs right now. Bryce Eldridge. You just made the season. The present. The future. The present. You just made the season.
That was literally what was going through my mind when Bryce is coming up to the plate. And then it, ends up being, let me see. I'm going to do something I don't really like doing, but I'm going to do it anyway here. So Bryce hits that ball, and then it's. Yeah, so that was that feeling there.
Yeah,
watching Bryce.
He's been so good at the plate in terms of his patience. In retrospect, you're like, maybe go a little deeper in the count, take a couple of pitches, but that's just after the fact. I mean, I completely judge. I completely understand or give him the entire empowerment to, if you feel as though that was a pitch that you could do damage with, and you got to let him go. So. Good pitch location.
Yeah, he's worked so many great at bats this year, Dan.
And I like him in the field
as a rookie. He's been really good in the field. Ron Washington's raving about this kid. It's funny actually. You'll hear about this when we chat when I hear the chat later. But Wash, he didn't know that he was 21 until the end of spring training. Wash thought that Bryce was like 24, 25 years old. He finds out the end of spring training that he's actually 21 years old, and. I remember we had his high school coach, Mark Jorman, on the morning roast. He talked about how Bryce has always been very mature for his age, always wiser than his years. He is a very mature 21-year-old. So he's had so many great at-bats this year, so many great moments. It's hard for me to get really angry in that situation. That being said, though, you got to work a count. You really do. And you're 21 years old, you're a rookie. That's how you learn your lesson.
Yeah, that's true. But sometimes, Barry Bonds would always say you're just going to and oftentimes with him, you wouldn't get that one pitch. But every at bat, typically, you're going to get one pitch to hit. There's going to be one pitch. And so if he felt as though that was the one he could drop, because he's usually pretty patient. He had a walk, I want to say, against a left-hander earlier in the game.
Yeah, it was a really good at bat throw on that walk.
The thing about Bryce Eldridge, the more you watch him, he has to play, doesn't he, Sam? Every day in the field. Like a 21-year-old should not be a designated hitter when he has the potential to be in the dirt. Again, this just screams, forget about Devers being a mistake. Okay, those things happen. As a GM, you wanted a big bat, and Giants clearly needed one at the time, but it hasn't worked out, I don't think. I mean, we can look at it in its totality. I still think the daunting part of that is that you still have another 9 years and $250 million on that bone. So if you can move Devers, I think that is high priority right now with the emergence of Bryce Eldridge. He should not be rotating in and out of the DH spot. The question now becomes, does anybody want Devers? And according to reports, they've obviously have solicited and dangled the young man, Rafael Devers, but there's not a lot of suitors at this point. But I still think he's a high priority if I'm Buster Posey to move him at the deadline.
Yeah, you mentioned Bryce there. He has played 4 of the last 5 games now at first base, so he's been getting a lot of time there lately. And he was asked about that yesterday. I don't have the sound. I'll just read off the transcript what he said. So it was Evan Webeck actually asked the question, 4 out of 5 for Eldridge at first. Is the balance starting to tip in that direction of Bryce at first base? Tony said, yeah, a little bit too, just looking after guys' bodies, things like that. Both those guys, Rafi and Bryce, are interesting over at first base because they have different strengths and weaknesses. The good thing about both of them is we've got confidence in both of them. Just want to make sure everybody is where they need to be physically. So which is a very diplomatic way of saying, yeah, we like both those guys, but Bryce is getting the run in right now. Rafi's been a lot better on handling a lot of those pop-ups. Bryce's lateral mobility has been a little bit better, I think, than what this coaching staff was anticipating for a guy his size, his young. Shout out Ron Washington for that. I do agree with you, Dan. I would like to see a lot more Bryce at first base the rest of the way. And if Rafi can keep hitting well as a DH, because remember, his whole thing is, I like to play first base and then also, hit. But if he can hit and also still be a DH, it makes it a lot easier, I think, to stick with Bryce at first, Rafi DH.
But I don't think it's a long-term solution because we know what Rafael Devers is like if he doesn't get a chance to play in the field. See the Boston Red Sox, right? Like, he wants to be out in the field. Why? This is just a matter of time before it explodes. You cannot appease both parties. Bryce Eldridge has to play every single day in the field. He's too young to be a DH. You can revisit DH 15 years from now, but as of right now, he's got to be in the field.
So I think this gets us into our Luis Arraez conversation here, Dan, because I understand why Giants fans want to keep Luis Arraez. I love him. He's been one of my favorite watches this year. And John Shea, the Standard, had a chance to catch up with Arraez earlier this week. And John floated the idea of, would you like to sign an extension with this team and hang around here a little bit? And Luis said, yeah, why not? Especially because this organization gave me a big opportunity to improve my defense. I would love to come back here. We're still in the season, and I don't think about that right now. But in the future, let's see what happens. I'm open to listen to whatever they want to say to me. Which is, I've heard statements like that before from guys who then get traded a few weeks later and never wear that uniform ever again. But it is the first time that we have an on-record comment of Arraez signing an extension. And I still maintain, Dan, I've said this a lot on this show, Luis Arraez is a privilege. You have to kind of earn the right to hold on to a guy of that ilk. If the Giants are going to sign him to an extension, what's it, 3 to 5 years? Let's split the difference, call it 4. Your next 4 years, your infield is locked in. Chapman, Adames, Arraez, Devers, Eldridge. That's not a tenable situation. The Devers-Eldridge balance, to your point, is part of that. The only way I think you can truly hold on to Luis Arraez past this deadline is if you move off 2 of the 3 in Adames, Devers, and Chapman. Which 2 of those 3? I think I waffle on it every day. One day I wake up and I'm like, Adames and Chapman need to go. Next day I wake up and it's like, I think it's Chapman and Devers need to go. Next day I wake up, actually Adames and Devers are the guys that need to go. And maybe we can make a YouTube poll question there, trade 2 of the 3. Who do you want to go there? But I don't think you can even start talking about an Arraez extension as long as you're locked in with those other 3 in your infield for the next several years.
Well, I can tell you that, yes, ideally, if you can move Adames, that would be fantastic. But if I had to choose 2 of the 3, clearly, it's the corner infielders. Why? Because they're taking the positions of, and I'm playing on the word here, they're taking the positions and inhibiting the growth of the cornerstone of your team right now. Who are the 2 best players when you think about the future? It's Bryce Eldridge, who should be holding down first base every day, and then it's Casey Schmidt, who should be on the dirt every single day at third base. Clearly, this guy, that is his natural position. It is not left field, and as good as he was at second base, he is a third baseman. I'm sure you talked about and saw what it is he did in Colorado, which is one of the most, I'm right there with Fleming. That play that he had where he touched the bag and then was able to throw underhand essentially across his body from foul territory. That dude is a third baseman and should be playing there every single day. So to me, it's very clear that the 2 guys who are holding down the corners for the San Francisco Giants currently, that being Chapman and Devers, if you can move them, even if you're eating contract, they have got to go, because you're limiting the growth of what is the foundation in the future of this franchise. I think this team is going to be built around 3 guys, and it's not Chapman, Adames, and Devers. It's Jung-Hoo Lee, it's Bryce Eldridge, and it's Casey Schmidt. And 2 of those guys are corner infielders, and they need to start ASAP.
That's well said. I very much agree with you. I also think the other reason why you need to keep Adames is that none of your shortstops, he's your most game-ready shortstop right now. If Willy Adames disappeared tomorrow for whatever reason, not a morbid or dark reason like that, let's just pretend he isn't on the team for a day. Christian Koss is probably your first guy to go in at short. I mean, you can put Casey Schmidt there. He's not a primary shortstop, though. He's more of a second baseman or third baseman kind of guy. So you don't really have any other options at shortstop. Slivas Basabe is probably your next man up in the minors if it's not Christian Koss. And I think Basabe is like 24, 25, but I don't know what he has to offer at the big league level. All of your young shortstops, Johnny Level, Josar Gonzalez, Luis Hernandez, Gavin Killian, Rock Chwalski, if the Giants do get him this weekend, those guys are 2-3 years away from making the big leagues. You need a shortstop in Willy Adames. Here's the problem, though, Dan. If I had to pick one of those 3 guys, let's just pretend positions didn't matter. And I had to pick one of those 3 guys and that I want this guy to stay because I feel like he'd be the best fit for this clubhouse going forward. It might be Matt Chapman. He's the guy who sets a tone and an attitude that I want the young guys on my team to gravitate around to. But to your point, he blocks Casey Schmidt.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a difficult decision, I think, to pick which 2 of the 3 because you got Devers, who's the meat and potatoes of your lineup right now. The way he's been hitting over the last few months, this is why you have a guy like Rafi Devers in your lineup. He could have a down year and still hit 35 home runs and drive in 100 runs this year, Dan.
Yeah, I'd say over the last week he's been pretty good, but he disappears a lot. And yes, he's been very, very good, but he's number 1 on my hit list. And again, Chapman's right behind him again because you need Casey Schmidt as well as Bryce Eldridge. But here's the thing about Devers is that, and putting aside what it is that he did, that huge public blowout where he refused to come out for a pinch hitter, for a pinch runner, but I think there might be an attitude issue there. And that's really, when you talk about cultivating the culture, and I know that Tony Vitello says all the right things, that he likes this guy. I'm not necessarily sure that that's how the rest of the team feels. There is one guy, Sam, on this team that does not bust ass down the line on a ground ball to the second baseman or a routine ground ball, and it's Devers. Devers does not run out ground balls. That stuff, players see that in the dugout, and it has an effect. There's a cause and effect. I'm a firm believer that if you cultivate the right culture in that locker room, in the clubhouse, there's a linear direct line to sort of wins and losses. I mean, I always harken back to 2010. And I remember Mike Krukow, who never does these sort of things. When they were nip and tuck, remember that with the San Diego Padres, and it came down to the last day of the regular. Sure you do, obviously. And I remember Krukow, where the Giants were trailing the Padres and there was still a month to go in the season. He said, this team is going to go to the postseason. And that's not something Krukow did. And what is it that he was using to support all of that? He's like, there is just a vibe in that locker room. And you could see it. Because at the time, there was just a bunch of castaways. It was like, who are these guys? But there was the feeling was palpable. Well, the opposite can also be true. And when you have guys like Devers, albeit he can make contact and he can do damage better than anybody in the club, but if there's this sort of rippling detrimental effect, guys like that can be really cancerous to a team. And I think you need to identify it. And again, just, cut your mistakes sooner rather than later. It's not a big deal that Buster Posey went after this guy, but to me, it's not working out, especially when you're talking about long term. There's not another 2 or 3 years, but 9 years with this guy. I need to move him, especially with the emergence of Bryce Eldridge, and especially what it is that I saw in terms of him not wanting to come at that public display, and the fact that there seems to be a lot of being moaning with this guy behind closed doors.
So I have heard whispers, that the streets are talking, the little birds are out. I have heard whispers that there is a frustration with, let's just call it the effort. I don't want to say the effort level, but just the commitment to putting in the work. I'm going to go with that term. Don't pretend I never said effort level. The commitment to work from certain players that are making a lot of monies with this team. And yeah, to your point, Dan, the reason why I want to keep a Matt Chapman on this team is because you're never going to get that from him. He's a guy that he shows up to work every day and sets like, this is how you put that work in. I want Casey Schmidt to look at guys like a Matt Chapman and be like, that's how I need to work. I want, the Drew Gilberts, the Jonah Coxes. I want them to look at Matt Chapman and be like, that's how I'm going to go into work every day. Luis Arias, same thing. Those are the tone setters I want. I see Bryce out there every day with Wash. I see Luis Arias out there every day with Wash. I see Casey Schmidt out there every day with Wash. I see Rafi Devers out there sometimes with Wash. I see Willy Adames out there sometimes with Wash. Chapman puts out the work every single day. Like, you see the pattern there. You got two guys, your two biggest money-making guys, basically not putting in the full work that I think you would expect for guys to make with that kind of money. And that's just not a situation that is healthy for a clubhouse like this. It's not a situation for a clubhouse to succeed. And you're seeing the product on the field. And I'm not trying to just say, Willie and Rafi are the reason why things are the way they are. It's just another piece of the puzzle of why things are the way they are. And so, yeah, that if they are the two that you can get rid of or trade off of at this deadline, yes, but I also think those are the two hardest deals of those three.
Nobody wants them.
Yeah.
What would you do with a Rise?
With a Rise, if he would take a 4-year extension, I would do it. But again, it's contingent on, as I said, you got to move off 2 of those 3.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to want Adames right now. He has had, and we can get into this on the other side, the production he has had this year has been so hollow. Dan, he's got 15 home runs this year, which is pretty good. 21 total runs have scored off those 15 home runs. His home runs have been so unproductive.
How many solo shots of those 21?
Of those 21, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Half of his home runs.
Over half. 11 of his 15 home runs have been solo home runs.
Safe.
And then with the Rafi Devers thing, that contract is so massive and the reputation so muddied. Like, what the Giants did to the Red Sox last year, coming in and rescuing them from that deal, no one's doing that for the Giants. And that's going to be a massive undertaking for Buster to unload that contract. Let's keep this conversation going on the other side. Brett and Martinez, I see you. We'll get to you on the other side as well. Oh, Keith Law. He's reporting that Rock Chorowski's going at number 1 today in the draft. Well, that sucks. Brought to you by Fremont Bank. Here for you, here for good.
If you're still arguing with your buddies about who's winning Saturday's UFC main event with Conor McGregor, stop guessing and start trading your prediction on Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. Trade against other fans, not the house. Whether you're predicting this weekend's UFC action, confident in McGregor taking down Holloway, or calling the biggest moments in sports, Polymarket lets you put your take to the test. Download the Polymarket app and use promo code BLAZE to unlock $50 free for your first trade. That's promo code BLAZE. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
With increasing summer temperatures, this is a good time to replace your home siding, decking, and fencing. Golden State Lumber and Showroom works closely with contractors to keep your home protected. AZEK Exteriors offers outstanding durability, is easy to install, and protects against fire and dry rot. And TimberTech Advanced PVC Decking has a Class A fire rating and is backed by industry-leading warranties. Visit GoldenStateLumber.com for products that increase the value of your home. Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You deserve a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Switch today. Get started for $60 a month for 12 months when you add an advanced solution to a qualifying internet package. Limited time offer. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and autopay with bank account required. Taxes and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Alameda County Fair in Pleasanton, June 19th through July 12th. Kick off summer with food, rides, and a Big O Tires concert series with Flo Rida and Elle King. Save at AlamedaCountyFair.com.
Hey, it's Steiny from 95.7 The Game, and on Sunday, July 19th, I'm headed out to Bay Street, Emeryville to catch the final, and you should too. Match day festivities start at 11:30, the whistle blows at noon, and we'll be watching on the massive plaza screen and TVs throughout the terrace. Grab pizza, burgers, hand rolls, brews, and more. Then come meet me and the 95.7 The Game crew and cheer on the world's best. Get details at baystreetemeryville.com/events.
This is an urgent health alert for anyone who cut, ground, or polished engineered stone countertops. If you worked with quartz or artificial stone slabs, brands like Caesarstone, Silestone, or Cambria, and now suffer from shortness of breath, a chronic cough, or have been diagnosed with silicosis or lung disease, you may qualify for significant compensation. Go to govictory63.com now for a free, completely confidential case review. Your information stays private. No one contacts your employer without your permission. Stone fabricators across the country are coming forward. Lawsuits allege manufacturers knew their high silica products were causing devastating lung disease in workers and failed to warn. Verdicts have already reached millions of dollars. Go to govictory63.com now for your free, confidential case review. If you've worked with engineered stone and your lungs aren't what they used to be, act now. Filing deadlines apply. Visit govictory63.com for your free, confidential review. That's govictory63.com. This is a paid advertisement for legal services by the Goldwater Law Firm in Phoenix, Arizona. Primary legal services performed by co-counsel law firms. For additional disclaimers, go to goldwaterlawfirm.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This summer, your passport isn't required. Welcome to Summer in Tokyo at P.F. Chang's. Inspired by the color and energy of Tokyo's vibrant sushi scene, these limited-time creations bring bold flavors in every bite. Discover new sushi rolls, steak tataki, and lobster and prawn fried rice inspired by one of the world's most exciting food destinations. Cruise through Tokyo, one roll at a time aboard our sushi boat with wave after sushi wave of unforgettable taste. Summer in Tokyo at P.F. Chang's. Your journey to Tokyo starts here.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Hey, make sure you're signing up to become a member of Game Pass Pro and 95.7 The Game's YouTube channel. Get access to private AMAs with the host, exclusive content from events and in-depth insights after the biggest games. Go to YouTube, search 95.7 The Game, and sign up now to become the latest member of Game Pass Pro. Get full shows, really cool interviews. Maybe this Ron Washington interview that we got coming up at 11. Maybe that'll be a Game Pass Pro content there. We shall see. I asked the boss about it last night. He didn't really give me an answer. So shows where things are out there. 888-957-9570 is the number to call. I have not been doing a good job of giving out the number this show. My apologies, everybody. Let's go to one of our callers, though. Brett Martinez. What do you got for us today, Brett? You're on the wrap. And Brett, got to pot him up. Brett, are you there? Going once. Maybe Brett's not there. Maybe tell Brett to call back. And we'll try that again later. So, well, try to go to a call. That didn't really work out. But 888-957-9570 is the number to call or text. We do have a YouTube poll up right now. If you have to trade two of these three, who are you trading? Chapman, Adames, or Devers? Right now, leading at 50%, it's Chapman and Adames and keeping Devers. Not a lot of votes in yet so far on that one. And why do you want to trade those players or two of those three players? Well, in part because fans don't really want him on the team anymore. But two, because Luis Arias told John Shea earlier this week in the SF Standard about the prospect of an extension. Yes, why not? Especially because this organization gave me an opportunity to improve my defense. I would love to come back here. We're still in the season. I don't think about that right now, but in the future, let's see what happens. I'm open to listen to whatever they want to say to me. First things first, Dan, do you believe that Arias is being truthful when he says that? Because I'm a cynic.
Oh, he's just being an agent. That's, of course, his agents are like, you got to keep every door open. Why would he? Why would he say that? I mean, is he going to say, no, I'm not coming back here? I mean, of course, you're going to the highest bidder. He has basically set up his career for this payday. Like, this is everything that he's done this year is for him to get paid. The big question, Sam, going forward is just the years. I think you alluded to this. I think that's really what it's going to come down to. It's like if we can get him to 3 years, we'll do it because, as you mentioned, there are the best prospects on the San Francisco Giants are all middle infielders, right? And so if you're going to clog that middle spot for the next 5 years and it's going to be a hefty price tag, I don't know if it makes sense for the Giants. But it just really comes down to, and I think he's going to want to get paid, obviously, but it's just the years when it comes to Rise at this point. And so, yeah, I think, listen, if you're able to move Chapman especially, and Casey Schmidt goes over to third, and you couldn't move Devers and you couldn't move Adames, and you only use one of the three, that still makes a strong statement and case to keep Rise if Casey Schmidt's now your everyday third baseman.
That is probably the easiest solution there. Yeah, just slotting Casey in at third. I mean, we're kind of seeing it right now with Casey at third, Adames at short, Arias at second. The other reason, Dan, I think if you want to make a case against trading Luis Arias is when you look at all the second basemen that have been traded this decade, the returns have not been like that great. I did a little dive yesterday and hold on. Dealing with allergy stuff today. Trey Turner was traded to the Dodgers in 2021 from the Nationals. The Nationals sent Keibert Ruiz and Josiah Gray and a couple other prospects that you never heard of. Ruiz has been an okay catcher. Josiah Gray been an okay starting pitcher for the Nationals. Outside of that, though, the best trade, though, that you've seen, like in terms of a return for the teams that traded him away, is probably what the Marlins got for Luis Arias when they traded him to the Padres a few years ago. They got 4 players there: Dylan Head, Nathan Martorella, Woo-Suk Go, who's now on the Twins. Those other 2 guys, they're still toiling around the minors. And then center fielder Jacob Marcy, who we saw him when the Giants played the Marlins a few weeks ago. He was a solid ball player. Now, Luis Arias, he's been to a couple All-Star games already. He's going to go to another one this week. He might go to another 1 or 2 in his career. I don't know what Marcy's ceiling is as a baseball player. But, I mean, there's likely he'll probably make 1 or 2 All-Star games, if being realistic. So that's the best return that we've seen for a second baseman. And Marcy's a solid player, but if you're hoping for some game-changing, dynamic return of a prospect for a second baseman, what we've seen this year, whether it's Jazz Chisholm in 2024, Whit Merrifield in 2022, Isaac Paredes in 2024 when the Rays sent him to the Cubs. They did get Christopher Morel back in that one. He's okay. Paul DeJong in 2023, he's not much of a guy. Like, you're not getting great returns for these second basemen at the trade deadline. I wonder if there's a situation where the offers you get for Arias are just so meh that they do just kind of hold on to him and then maybe try to work out an extension.
You know, Jazz Chisholm plays with a lollipop in his mouth sometimes. Did you ever hear about that?
I did see that. Could you imagine if Willie Adames did that? Or Ralphie Devers did that? Oh,
but just getting back to Arias, I think that if they don't move Adames, or if they can't move Adames, because you know they're trying. If they can't move Adames and they can't move Chapman and they can't move Devers, and then they trade Arias, how's that going to sit with Giant fans?
Well, you know what, Dan? I would say that Luis Arias, in a way, perfectly represents what has made this season so frustrating. Like, coming into this season, there was a lot to like about this team and what they could do, especially offensively. And Arias has been everything that he was promised and more. He's been the prince that was promised, if you want to make a Game of Thrones reference here. And everything around him, though, has just been so miserable and drab and just unfortunate this year. Like, Luis Arias has kind of represented the timeline where everything goes right for the Giants, but instead it's a reminder of what could have been in a season of just darkness and misery. And to have to trade Arias but still be stuck with your 3 anchor contracts would just double down on that feeling. This is the one good thing we have this year. Not the one good thing. I mean, Bryce and Logan have been good too this year. Jung-Hoo Lee, fantastic. Casey Schmidt. But Luis Arias has been the brightest of bright spots this season. And a reward for that is having to watch him get shipped away somewhere else for a guy who may or may not provide value for this team in the future. Like, that's just so twisted and not fun if you're a Giants fan.
I would say the other thing about this, and this is something that ownership oftentimes takes into account, and one of the reasons why, I don't know, did you guys talk about that ESPN article that had Jung-Hoo Lee as trade bait at the deadline, which it's obviously ESPN has not spent a lot of time in San Francisco and is familiar with the rapport of the fans.
I'm wearing my Jung-Hoo Lee jersey today.
And Jung-Hoo Lee. If Buster Posey does that, you think it's bad enough with what it is you've done with Adonis, Chapman, and Devers. You trade Jung-Hoo Lee, don't even bother coming back, my man. That's suicide.
Steven, did you just break a little bit of news in my ear? No,
I did break some news.
Breaking news.
Rock Chalowski, first overall pick in this year's draft.
Yeah.
And it seems like we're going to have the Giants pick during this show. So we might have the breaking news sounder ready for when that does happen.
Ooh.
So did the
Let me know actually when the Giants are on the clock. Maybe we can take that live if you guys know how to set
it. It is on Peacock.
So did that?
We are not going to be able to take that live then.
So did the catcher go number 2, or is the number 2 pick still on the clock?
Patience, Dan.
All right.
Still on the clock.
Who is picking at number 2?
Vaughn Lackey, by the way, is the name of the catcher.
Dude, his man. Forget about Chalowski. This Vaughn Lackey guy.
Well, remember the last catcher from Georgia Tech?
Yeah. Boop, boop. Joey Bart.
Oh.
Yeah. ACC catchers, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Giants are 1 for 3 on their last 3 ACC catchers.
Rizzo, though, if you've seen Vaughn Lackey, right?
I've seen highlights of Vaughn Lackey.
He ain't no Joey Bart.
He could hit.
And he can run and he can throw. This guy's like he could be like a power forward. This guy's for real. But
he could be Dan Devone.
Well, let's not get out of hand here. He'll never have that sort of career. But let's talk about that pitcher, Jackson Flora. Like, is that?
I guess he's now the guy because this team does need pitching.
So he's supposed to be. I find this fascinating. He's supposed to be the best pitcher, at least in the first round, the top 10.
I mean, he's the guy who, again, if it wasn't Rock mocked to the Giants at 4, it was Jackson Flora mocked to the Giants at 4. So,
but here's what I've been reading about this guy is that, and this is how technical things now. Back in the day when it was like a Major League Baseball draft, if the guy threw 95 or 98 on the corners, it's just like, hey, get him. The dude's got gas. Now, because they're able to break all this stuff down, apparently he doesn't have enough movement on his fastball, or he plays at too much contact, not enough strikeouts. And so suddenly you're seeing that San Francisco may be going another direction for a high school player or a couple of high school players. So I find this sort of fascinating because the first 3 players are supposed to be locks. And then when it gets to the Giants, now it gets Jackson Flora, clearly the number 1 pitcher, supposed to come off the board. But apparently there's a few warts on the guy. And so I'm sort of fascinated now, whereas I thought it was a done deal, Jackson Flora, but now potentially I'm hearing some high school guys that could come up and surprise people as the number 4 pick.
I mean, for me, when it comes to the draft, and Andrew Bagley wrote a really good story about the Giants in the draft the other day in The Athletic, and he talked to Michael Holmes, their scouting director, who's in charge of putting all these draft boards together. It's on the Giants, basically. It's obviously on Buster Posey to make the correct pick. I've never really been a draft for need guy when it comes to the Major League Baseball draft because baseball prospects are just...
Yeah.
It's so different from
your best
the NFL
available.
and the NBA. I am a take the best player available kind of guy because, again, right now the Giants have 4 shortstops as their top 4 prospects. One of those guys will play short. One of those guys will play second.
Or the outfield.
One of those guys will get moved to the outfield. One of those guys will probably get traded. Like, these things are just, these prospects are so fungible here. If they feel like their best option available is taking a first baseman, take that first baseman. Because you know what that first baseman becomes? Either you move him to right field or he's a trade chip to bring in a real starting pitcher later down the line. So it's these things that can go in so many different directions. We have no idea what this team will look like in 3-4 years.
Let me ask you that. Has Paul Skeens and Mizorowski sort of influenced potentially your decision making?
What do you mean?
Well, because they're such fast track to the major leagues.
I mean, Paul Skeens was the number 1 overall pick, and he looked like one of those guys who was ready to go day one. And sometimes those guys come along, sometimes they don't. It's because with baseball, a lot of times you draft these guys, and it's like, cool, Rock Churowski, see you in 3 years. Like, that's what's usually how it happens because it takes that long. Now, you mentioned Rock is the guy who could be plug and play, so maybe Rock's a bad example, but that's what it is for a lot of these first-round draft picks.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, versus like the NFL or the NBA draft, like Fernando Mendoza gets drafted number 1 overall. There's no question he's going to expect to be under center almost immediately, if not halfway through the season, if the Raiders decide to do something with Kirk Cousins there. AJ Dabanza being the first overall pick for the Wizards, he's expected to be right in that starting lineup day one for the Wizards. Even with the Warriors, with the Axel Lindeberg, there's an expectation Warrior fans want to see him in the starting lineup right away. But you know for a fact that Lindeberg will be, hopefully, in the rotation all season long, Steve Kerr. So, but with baseball, though, your number 1 pick, you're not going to see him for a few years. So it's a completely different value dynamic, Dan. We don't know what this team's going to look like in 3 years. Like, maybe they take a third baseman. Maybe they do need a third baseman in a couple of years. We don't know how these things can play out. What if Casey Schmidt makes it to free agency, goes somewhere else? We have no idea. So that's just kind of how I look at the MLB draft.
Yeah, I guess the question I would have is because pitching might be a little bit different just simply because of the way these guys throw. And I think that Major League Baseball and the college draft or college baseball, that gap has been narrowed more so than I think it has in a long, long time. What do we got?
Well, Rizzo just got my ear and let me know that we are going to be able to take the Giants pick at number 4. Ooh, this will be fun. I can't wait. How much time we got until that? Are they still on the clock for number 2?
The pick is in for the Rays. That's all it says.
Okay, and that's number 2 pick, right?
Number 2 pick, correct.
And how long are teams on the clock for?
I have no idea. The commissioner's at the podium right now announcing the pick.
Ooh. Oh, sorry.
Are they doing it like that of the NFL draft?
They're trying to make the Major League draft a lot like the NFL draft, and
they did it in Seattle last year, and they were like
it's in Philly this year. I don't think that works.
It was like 35 people.
Grady Emerson goes to the Rays, one of the shortstops.
Whoa, so Lackey has slipped, ladies and gentlemen. Vaughn Lackey, the star catcher, now
got caught lacking.
Well, if he's available in Florida, you take him?
You know what, Dan? If he's the best player on the board, yes. I don't care what. I mean, the Giants do need catching depth right now. Let's knock out some calls here while we wait for the Giants to make their pick. I was not expecting for us to take their first round pick live during the show, but hey, why not? It's a weekend wrap, baby. 888-957-9570 is the number to call or text. Let's go to the coach in Vallejo. Coach, what's going on? You're on the wrap.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Good morning. I was listening to your show while I was driving and about the Giants. And I think the biggest detriment, well, first of all, you have to ask, do you want to be better now or you want to be better later? And Matt Chapman seems to be the big holdup for me, okay? He's occupying third base, and he hasn't been a productive player in a few years now. And this year's really bad, and Schmidt should be there every day. I mean, that kid can hit, he can field, he has a great arm, and obviously he's been learning from Chapman. He plays Chapman's defense has even been slipping, so I would play Schmidt every day, and I agree with you guys that Eldridge should play every day. My only rap against him is he is awfully slow, and he can clog up the bases. And for a young man, I don't know how you make a guy faster. I don't think you can, but that guy can hit. He's awesome. Yeah. But, my big change is Adames and Chapman, because Chapman would be an eighth-place hitter on most teams right now. He is horrible. And Adames hasn't hit a curveball all year, and he's not a great shortstop. So those are the two guys that I would be looking to move. I would get off of Adames and Chapman and let Schmidt play every day. I don't know who's the backup shortstop, but they need somebody else there. Devers, he's going to get his numbers, okay? And I don't know. Let's convince him to be the DH. He plays very good defense, though, and he has a good arm. And Devers actually runs well when he runs, but yeah, Chapman is my big hang up, guys. And that's that's my input. I would have Schmidt there every day because right now he's probably the best all around player on the team. Okay. So thanks a lot.
Thanks for the call, Coach. Don't disagree with his logic there, but it's just, the Bryce and Rafi dynamic at first base, though, to your point, Dan, you made earlier, that's one that's it's not going to get better. And Coach says, just convince Rafi to do DH. Ask Craig Breslow, the Boston Red Sox, how that went.
Exactly.
Ideally, you got to move off all three, but I think right now I'm leaning towards, again, I know I said I like to keep Chapman, but the Casey Schmidt blocking changes things a little bit, unless, let me throw a thought at you, Dan. What if you kept Casey Schmidt in left, but you move Elliot Ramos? Is he a guy that you would explore trading at this deadline? Because he's an interesting case because he's hitting the ball really well. He's got, I think, 25 home run power. The defense is bleh, but he's also not decided to be a free agent until 2030, so you got a lot of team control there.
Yeah, I wouldn't move him.
You think he's a building block guy?
Well, I don't know if he's a building block guy, but I wouldn't move him because the fact that he's got stick from the right side of the plate, everybody covets that. Not only that, I don't think, are you telling me that, are you giving me this scenario because you can't move off of Chapman? Is that what we're saying here? Because
I guess if you, let's say your move is to trade Devers and Adames, and so you're keeping Chapman. So in that situation, then Casey Schmidt's probably playing in the outfield. I want Jung-Hoo Lee to play right field. I don't like Jung-Yi in center. I like him in right. I don't like Ramos in any position but right field either. So you have some redundancy there. So I guess would you rather have Elliot Ramos in left field or Casey Schmidt in left field? I guess is one other way to boil it down in this scenario.
I just don't want, of all my choices, I don't want Casey Schmidt in left field.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Casey Schmidt's been on par with Ramos defensively in left. That being said, though, I have an embarrassingly low bar of defensive expectations for the Giants. Can you be better than what Barry Bonds did in 2006 and 2007 when he was an incredibly below average defender who was getting about 26, 27, 28 home runs? Ramos, I think, can do that. I think Bonds' 07 defensive run save was like minus 14. And Ramos is at minus 12 this year, which I guess there's time for it to go even further south. If you believe that you can get better defense out of Ramos, plus this hitting, then I think it makes sense to keep him. But it depends on how believable you think that is. By the way, this just in from Susan Slusser. Buzz here in Philly is that the Giants will take UC Santa Barbara right-hander Jackson Flora out of Foothill. Big Giants fan with the number 4 pick if he is available. But Jacob Lombard and Eric Booth Jr. remain in the mix.
Guys, he's going to be available because Von Lackey's going to the Minnesota Twins.
Ooh, are the Giants on the clock now?
Giants are on the clock.
Giants are officially on the clock. Let's bang out a call here before we get to the Giants pick. Brett in Vallejo, what do you got for us, Brett?
Hey, guys. I don't know what it is with the bullpen. It's like I'm watching the game last night. Well, I do know what it is with the bullpen. They're just trash. But it's like I expect them to lose now. Like I literally watched them with a 1-run lead going in the 9th inning going, who are they going to bring in? Like Ryan Walker is just garbage. I don't know what he's doing anymore. Gates is just garbage. I've never seen the Giants bullpen just so horrible. And I honestly don't think the offense is the problem. I mean, I'd rather have a problem with depth at certain positions and then trying to like trade and move and just to fill a position. It's like, let's get depth and then work with that. And, as far as like this season goes, you got to chalk it up to an L. And I don't think it's Tommy Vitello's problem. I don't think it's his fault. I'm sorry. I don't think it's his fault. He got dealt a raw deal and, he's trying to make the best of it coming in as a brand new coach. And unfortunately, it is what it is. But thanks for taking my call, guys.
Of course, Brett. No, Brett, I agree with you. I don't think Tony is the problem, but I don't know how much of a solution he's been either. Like what will Bruce Bochy do with this bullpen? Probably get a lot of the same results, but I also don't know if things would fester like they have this season at times, like they have under the stewardship of Tony Vitello.
Yeah, and I think you have to think about it also from the lens of Buster Posey. If he moves off of Tony Vitello, he's admitting that he's made yet another mistake, and these mistakes now are beginning to pile up on the wrong side of the column for Buster.
Matt Chapman, he went above Farhan Zaidi in a move that basically announced Farhan's departure. That's looking like a disaster. Gives out the largest contract ever given to a player in Giants history to Willy Adames. And with the Willy Adames thing, we look at that money and what he's supposed to be, the highest paid player in Giants history. He's like the 7th or 8th highest paid shortstop in baseball today. Like, he is not paid like an elite shortstop, but he's expected to be like an elite Giant based on how he's been paid. And I just don't think there's a matchup there. And then, of course, Rafi Devers has been sometimes a disaster, sometimes a success. It depends which day of the week that we're asking that question on there. But, yeah, that's just be another high-profile mistake from Buster.
To put a bow on the Casey Schmidt, Elliot Ramos conversation, let me just sum it up this way. I'd much rather have Casey Schmidt replace Chapman than Elliot Ramos.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think, again, I like Chapman for the intangibles if I kept it just baseball reasons. So, again, Dan, this is why I oscillate between all three of these options. And, again, our poll question on YouTube and our question we asked our fans, 888-957-9570, you have to trade two of the three, Chapman, Adames, or Devers. Who are the two you're trading? Who's the one you're keeping? Right now in our YouTube poll, Chapman, Adames is in the lead, and you're keeping Devers. I flip it every day. I've flipped it several times just in this segment. I start off saying, I think I want to keep Chapman. But then it's like, you know what? And you make a great point about clearing space for Casey and Bryce. Chapman and Devers might be the best options to trade. Yeah. I don't know if I want to keep Adames, though. I feel like there's no right answer, but there's no wrong answer either. And that's Giants baseball.
Question really becomes is just do they have an actual opportunity to do this? Are we just theorizing here, or do you think there's potential takers when it comes to Devers and Chapman? That's really where we're at. And
I think if Chapman was healthy, I think you could find a team that would take him.
My bigger question
Devers, I don't think anyone's coming in to save the day on Devers. I just don't see it.
Is Ruderman going to give us the Yankees potentially again?
I mean, whoever wants to take Devers, the Giants have to. I don't care if the Giants have to eat all the money. I don't care. Eat as much money as you need to.
Yeah, I think they're at
in
that
order
point
to make this happen.
Yeah, well, they're willing to eat money, but you can't eat all of it.
Where are we on our Giants on the clock here? Because we're up against the break, then we got Ron Washington on the other side.
Well, Peacock just went to commercial. They're kind of in the middle of commercial, and they're coming back from commercial right now.
All
so
right.
I don't know if you want to push just a.
Let's push through this break here a little bit,
just a bit,
and see what's happening in this situation here. Let's see if our commissioner could come out and announce a pick in the next minute or two.
I think it will definitely happen in the next minute here.
All right, let's try and squeeze in a call really quick.
No call.
No calls? Okay, we don't have a call here. All right, we're eagerly awaiting the Giants' first pick in the draft. Number 4 overall. Who are the 3 players that have been taken so far? Rock Trowski went number 1 overall.
Emerson number 2.
All right, to the Rays. And then
Von Lackey number 3.
Where'd Lackey go to?
The Twins.
The Twins. All right. There it is. Rob Manfred's coming out. Ooh.
The San Francisco Giants select Jackson Flora,
there it is.
A right-handed pitcher from UC Santa Barbara.
A gaucho.
There it is. Jackson Flora is officially a San Francisco Giant. No pressure, kid. Just need you to save the franchise.
Big kid.
6'5", local
dude's
kid,
got
Giants fan.
Ridiculous fast. Apparently his out is the changeup. He's got this amazing changeup, but I'm with you. If you're not in the top 3 of this year's draft, I don't know. It could be a while.
Well, it's a high upside pitcher here, which I like that move in that sense. Giants got to develop him, though, and that's the problem, though. The Giants have done a crap job of developing their starting pitchers.
Yeah.
Whizzit Hunt had a promising start on Thursday night. Hopefully he can become something, but...
He looks like a WWE guy.
Walnut Creek.
That's a good come. Oh, really?
Walnut Creek, Pleasanton, California, Santa Barbara, went to...
Foothill, same high school as Brandon Crawford.
And on the broadcast right now, they have Cole Hamels doing analysis at the desk, and he says his comparison for Jackson Floro is Kerry Wood.
Oh.
Closest to the big leagues, according to Cole Hamels.
All righty then. Well, Hopefully we don't. Hopefully he's like Kerry Wood in all the good ways, not in all of the bad ways.
He could take a young Kerry Wood for the first 5 years of his career.
On the other side, I got my conversation with Ron Washington. It's about 16 minutes long, so we'll get to that on the other side. I definitely want to share that. We'll react to this draft pick a little bit as well. Skills, I see you. Don't go anywhere. You want to talk about Dylan Smith. I want to give Dylan Smith flowers. We'll do that with you on the other side. Brought to you by Fremont Bank. Here for you, here for you.
Hey, it's Willard and Dibs for Safeway. Enjoy these amazing deals for members. And as always, save up to 20% weekly on hundreds of exclusive offers from Safeway. Just clip the highlighted deals from the weekly mailer or click the deals in the For You section of the Safeway app to breeze through checkout. We got creamy Hass avocados, just 99 cents each. Very versatile. Dibs, you could do your Avo toast.
Yep.
Or maybe make some guacamole.
Some big-time guacamole at that price. It's price to mix and price to move. Also, Lucerne milk, half-gallon, lactose-free, or Lucerne full gallons of milk, just $3.99 each. Limit 4, and you got to make sure that you get that milk because milk is good for you. And USDA Choice Beef Chuck Short Ribs, just $7.99 per pound. Limit 2 packages.
Look at you. Protein in milk. Your bones are going to be so strong. These and other great deals are available in the weekly mailer in the For You section of the Safeway app. Go to Safeway.com for more details, and we'll see you in the aisles.
Hey, it's Dan Dibley here. The FIFA World Cup is entering its biggest matches, and there's no better place to be than on Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform. The games are getting serious, and right now, Norway is trading at a 37% probability to beat England in the next match, meaning a $100 trade pays out $252 if, in fact, Norway does beat England. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use the code DIBS, D-I-B-S, to get $10 when you trade 10, K-A-L-S-H-I, Kalshi. Trade the beautiful game. 18 and over only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
I think we should have an open relationship.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Let's definitely do that.
With our cars.
Oh, FlexCar. Yeah, that's what I meant too.
FlexCar is the first and only month-to-month car lease. Swing from a Wrangler 1 month to a Prius the next. FlexCar. You drive everything.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're still arguing with your buddies about who's winning Saturday's UFC main event with Conor McGregor, stop guessing and start trading your prediction on Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. Trade against other fans, not the house. Whether you're predicting this weekend's UFC action, confident in McGregor taking down Holloway, or calling the biggest moments in sports, Polymarket lets you put your take to the test. Download the Polymarket app and use promo code BLAZE to unlock $50 free for your first trade. That's promo code BLAZE. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I am grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Join 95.7 The Game at the Miristar Federal Credit Union Stuff the Bus event, a backpack drive supporting Bay Area student success July 18th in San Jose from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Help us make an impact in our community. Get all the details and donate now at 957thegame.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Here's a World Soccer Championship Team Spotlight, brought to you by the first ever Infinity QX65 and by Lowe's. Members get more at Lowe's.
Spain is the tournament's top seed. A beautifully balanced side built on fluid possession, led by a creative playmaker who unlocks defenses at will. La Roja's depth across every position makes them the team to beat.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ-FM and HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station and the home of the Golden State Warriors and Valkyries. Always live on the free Odyssey app and now coming to you live from the Laughing Monk Studios. Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
We're back on the wrap. Got a new member of the San Francisco Giants, Jackson Flora, the pride of UCSB, coming to the Giants. Graduate of Foothill High, lived in Pleasanton, from Walnut Creek at one point. I wonder what part of Walnut Creek he was from, the good side or the Northgate side. Looking at the scouting report on Jackson Flora, high 90s fastball that can touch 100. That'll play. That is his highest graded pitch. Dan, the MLB scouting grades have it as a 70. For those who don't know, MLB scouting grades make no sense. It's done on a scale of 20 to 80. If you're a 50, that's considered an average. 60 is above average. 70 is well above average. If you are a 65 plus grade, you grade out as someone who could be a future all-star in Major League Baseball. So it seems like a very arbitrary system. 70 graded fastball, a 55 slider, a 55 changeup, 60 overall. So solid numbers there, but the fastball is his best looking weapon right now. And the Giants just took him with the 4th pick overall in the draft.
Maybe he can be the next Shane Bieber, who happens to be out of the UC Santa Barbara Gaucho system. Not a lot of guys who came out of Santa Barbara when it comes to baseball, but I know Shane Bieber is one of them.
So at one point in this past season, from March 6th to April 10th, Jackson Flora had a 38 1/3 inning scoreless streak, which was the longest verified streak in program history. We're seeing all these fun little facts come out about Jackson Flora now. So hopefully the Giants have a bit of a winner here in Jackson Flora, because again, pitching is lacking with this team right now.
Their future rotation is going to be when they get to the postseason, whenever that day is going to be. You pare down the rotation. It'll be Logan Webb.
So you're keeping Logan Webb in this scenario?
Jackson Flora. Well, let's say 2 years from now. Let's say
I'm not trading Logan Webb.
We're in a postseason game. Here come the San Francisco Giants. What are going to be the pitching matchups as they take on whomever, the St. Louis Cardinals, in the first round of the postseason? Logan Webb.
Flora could be in there.
Jackson Flora.
Wizenhunt.
Tugboat. Is it
Tugboat Wilkinson.
Tugboat Wilkinson. There
Maybe we'll see him in there. Hopefully it'll be Flora.
There it is. I'm good.
Hopefully Wizenhunt can elevate to that point. I love what I saw from Wizenhunt the other night. Landon Roop, maybe he's your 4 or 5 starter. I know everyone's pissed off at Landon Roop. I like to think he can still be a solid pitcher for this team, but that's your opinion if you're of that ilk. So
yeah, the only thing with Wizenhunt, it was Colorado. I mean, I know. Can the team hit or not? I mean,
you know what? It's the only thing about Wizenhunt is he's on the Giants. Yeah, I don't know if the Giants. I don't know if we're in a situation where you could say, "Well, it's the Rockies." I mean, that is still a solid lineup. Now, it was the Rockies at work. No, I'm not going to do that. He had a good start the other night, Dan.
All right.
Good for Wizenhunt. He's going to get lit up in his next start, maybe. Hopefully not.
He's a left-hander.
I don't mean to put that evil out there, Carson. Thanks for tuning in.
You guys know who else went to UCSB? Barry Zito.
Oh, I thought he was a USC guy.
Or it says Barry Zito played in the program. I don't know how long. But
I thought he was an SC guy.
Michael Young, former Ranger. Ryan Spielborgs, who Giants fans dislike.
Shane Bieber, right?
Shane Bieber, the recent one, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get to Ron Washington, I want to get to our guy Skills, Skills, in Vallejo. Skills, what's going on, buddy? You're on the wrap.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. The first thing I wanted to touch on real quick, as far as the Rockies' competition with the Giants, you can't when you're as bad as the Giants have been this season, and the Rockies have regularly beaten you soundly at times, you can't ever dismiss their level of competition. Not when you have the record the Giants have. Just want to say that. Dylan Smith, Sam, you want to give him flowers? I want to give this guy cars. I want to give him sports cars and Porsches and Corvettes and all that, because getting out of that bases loaded, no out jam last night, that's probably his best performance of the year. It put us in a position where we could have won the game. Unfortunately, things happened later on, as we know, with Killian. And, it's one of those things where the Giants closing situation for so long, probably since Brian Wilson, this has been 16 years now where they've probably had 12 or 13 different closers lead the team in saves. And until they get that situation settled, they're never going to make much progress. And I'm being honest. 2027, I can't deal with this in 2027 if there's even is a season in 2027. If the Giants don't have a closer and they're losing games like this next year, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to watch. I really just don't know. This has been just throwing away games late. It hurts. It's painful to have to deal with. And
it's demoralizing for sure.
I know you got Washington coming up, so I'll just finish up with this. Is Kyle Karros, Eric Karros' kid. Automatically there's built-in hate since he's the kid of a Dodger.
Yep.
But now this is the second game he's beaten us that I can think of offhand. Second game he's beaten us this week. Beat us last Saturday with the home run off of, ironically, Smith. But and then last night's single. So Kyle, go do your thing. I don't ever want to see you again. Thank you guys for the call.
All right, thank you for that call there, Skills. And, playing the infield in there, up the middle, didn't really like that in that Kyle Karros base hit that put the Rockies ahead. So, anyway, as I promised, we got Ron Washington here. Very excited to share this interview. We had a great conversation with Wash yesterday. So, without further ado, courtesy of the River Islands guest line, my conversation with Ron Washington.
Sam Lohman here alongside Coach Ron Washington. Coach, thanks so much for taking the time to sit with me and talk a little ball today. You're back in the Bay Area this year. Obviously, you're in Oakland for a while. How's it been being back in the Bay Area this season?
It's been fantastic. It really has. I forgot about how good this weather is.
Yeah, so when you got back here, is there like a place you like to go or like to eat that you have to go to when you do come back here?
No, not really, because I haven't really ventured out much in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. But, it's usually the regular thing. I'll find a P.F. Chang or something like that. Or I'll take a ride to Oakland and get something to eat over there. But for the most part, I've just been hanging around here in San Francisco. I've been going to the Townsend Inn. Great food.
Okay, all right. Yeah, how often you get back over to Oakland?
Maybe once every homestand.
Okay, nice.
I'll get up in the morning and take a ride over.
Yeah. Remember the old times there?
Just a ride over. Yeah. The ride is soothing.
Yeah. So you spent so many years coaching in the Coliseum. Now obviously baseball's not there anymore. What do you remember about coaching at the Coliseum? What are some of your favorite memories in that ballpark?
The teams that we had. Mm-hmm. Every year we came in without an opportunity to do anything, and we always did something. And that's simply because of the leaders that we had on that team. And Jason Giambi and Eric Chavez and Scott Hatterberg and Miguel Tejada, Mark Ellis, those guys. Mm-hmm. Even Mark Kotze. Yeah. He was our center fielder. So I remember those guys every single day they showed up. They had one thing on their mind, being the best they could be for their teammates.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're one of the most respected coaches in the game. You're a baseball lifer. Any team would be lucky to have you on their coaching staff. Mm-hmm. What compels you want to come back to San Francisco and coach here this year?
Well, I had a bypass operation last year, quadruple bypass. And the Giants and the Cincinnati Reds are the two teams that reached out to me. And Cincinnati decided to go with someone within the organization. Mm-hmm. And then the Giants called. And, when the San Francisco Giants called, how can you turn back?
Yeah.
The history that goes with this organization.
And then, so you got done playing, I want to say it was 89, I believe was your last 1990. And you went to, you became a coach with the Mets. Did it take long for you to realize that you wanted to get into coaching after you got done playing?
No. I mean, it wasn't something that was on my mind while I was playing, but I definitely got calls from other organizations that said, when you decide to retire, give me a call.
Oh, really?
And Bob Floyd was the field director for the New York Mets, and I've known Bob Floyd for a while. And so when I retired from playing, I gave him a call, and he took me on without an interview. Just took me on by reputation. And I went to the Mets, and I was there 5 years before I went to Oakland.
Yeah, so you go to the A's. How did you end up coming on to Art House staff?
Well, they had an opening. Dave Stewart and Billy Beane was the assistant general manager of Sandy Alderson, and they needed an infield guy, and they recommended me. And I met Art in Houston in the airport, did an interview, and 3 or 4 days later they called me and hired me.
So you were portrayed in the movie Moneyball. Do you feel like they portrayed you accurately in that movie?
Yeah, I was portrayed accurately, except for the fact that I wasn't one of those guys that coached from the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who portrayed me, he was doing a lot of the coaching from the sideline.
Yeah.
I'm a hands-on type of guy. That was the only difference. Other than that, it was good.
Yeah. So, line from the movie, when your character told Scott it's incredibly hard to play first base, was that a real line or was that a movie line?
No, that was a movie line.
That's what I figured.
But the line was used, but it was used with a couple of choice words in the manager's office in Phoenix Municipal Stadium. I didn't actually go to Scott Berg's house. We did have that conversation, but it was in the ballpark at Phoenix Municipal Stadium. And like you said, I told him it was going to be hard to do, but with a few choice words in there. And the incredible difficulty line was movie line.
So you've been coaching for a long time. How would you say you've evolved as a coach over the years?
Well, I think I've gone through 3 or 4 generations. I make an adjustment, just like you want players to make an adjustment and then readjust and adjust and readjust. I've done all of that, and that's the one thing that you have to do to remain valid in this game, relevant. And to make a difference in this game, you got to make some adjustments. And I never squawked at the adjustments. I just made the adjustment like I would make it if I was a player at the plate, or make it if I was a player playing defense, or make it if I was a player running the bases.
There's been so much technology that's been added into the game over the years as you've been coaching. How has that adjustment been, incorporating all this new data, all this new technology, and while also utilizing the skills, knowledge, and know-how that you've accumulated over your baseball?
Well, the adjustment I made in that situation is I tell the guys that are experts at the technology, if you want me to understand the technology, then you got to understand what I do for a living too. You just don't come to me and try to throw it down my throat. Explain why I need to use this, and then I can explain to you what I get out of it and how we can apply it to the players. Because it doesn't matter what they give me if I can't give it down to the players. It's useless. So me personally, that's the way I've handled it. I've never backed off anything. All I want you to do is explain to me what you do, and I want you to listen to what I do. And if we can get along doing that, we're not going to have a problem communicating.
No, it sounds very simple that way.
It is.
So you've been a manager too, as well as a coach. How much does your time as a manager kind of influence how you go about as a coach? Like, you've seen both sides of that.
The thing is,
dynamic.
your coaching influences your managing. Your managing don't influence your coaching. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you're coaching, you're involved in a lot. And when you're managing, most of the stuff you're involved in coaching, you see it firsthand out there happening.
Yeah.
So yes, you have to teach your coaching staff just like you help teach your players, but mainly coaching is just making certain that the need is met. Managing is making sure that the need of everyone is met. That's front office. That's general manager. That's players, that's coaches, that's media, that's medical staff. As a manager, you got all of that on your plate.
There's so much more you have to juggle in that situation. Well, I guess on that is, what do you enjoy more, managing or coaching?
I enjoy coaching.
Yeah.
I enjoy, let me go back. I enjoy managing for the years that I had the opportunity to manage.
Yeah.
But I understand I make a bigger difference as a coach. That's all.
Okay. No, obviously, I see you working with these guys in the field, doing all these infield drills before games, and it's incredibly mesmerizing to watch you work with these players. All these drills that you have them go through, just how did you come across some of these drills that you have them do?
Well, first of all, it's a mimic of the coach I had with the Los Angeles Dodgers named Chico Fernandez. He always did a lot of close-up stuff with me as a youngster on the field. And so when I became a coach, I took some of the stuff he did on the field and I took it to another level like you see me do on the side. I just took that to another level.
Yeah.
He would roll the ball and we would exchange the ball with second baseman, shortstop. And I just took it to a point where when he rolling the ball to me, we were working the last hop. So I developed this drill to work on the last hop because that is the last thing you do when a ball is put in play. Now and then from there, I just started developing the angles. Because you have angles to get to those balls.
Yeah.
And you got to go to the balls correctly. And my little drills on the side here, it helped identify if you are going to the ball in the correct manner. And it just kept evolving. What I'm doing right now, I started in 1990, and I've been doing the same thing since 1990.
Yeah. Ron Washington here joining us on the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. You've worked with a lot of great players over the years. Who are some of the players you would say that when they came to you, they just seemed, for lack of a better word, maybe lost as fielders, and then when you were able to work with them, turn them into great defensive players? Who are some of the names that kind of stick out to you in terms of, like, I guess your greatest works, I guess, is one way to put it?
Well, my greatest work was with Marcus Semien. Billy Bean called me after I lost my job in Texas and told me he got this kid who need my help. And he said, he not only needs your help, you need him, because I was at home. So I came in, it was Marcus Semien.
All right.
And when I arrived on the scene, believe it or not, everyone that I ran into told me that you can't make him into a shortstop. He's this, he's that. Well, my line was, Billy Bean called me, which Billy Bean and I are friends. He called me and he said, I want Marcus Semien to be turned into a shortstop. Marcus Semien wanted to be a shortstop.
Yeah.
Bob Melvin was the manager. He was okay with me coming in and helping Marcus become a shortstop. Dave Force at the time was the general manager because Billy was the president, and he wanted him to become a shortstop. So there was 4 of us that was on board to try to help Marcus become a shortstop. So all the noise outside of us 4, neither one of us heard. Dave Force had the patience to wait. Bob Melvin had the patience to wait. Billy Bean had the patience to wait. I had the patience to wait. And through all that waiting, Marcus got all he needed to become a shortstop. And then he goes to Toronto and win a Gold Glove as a second baseman.
How proud, of course, as a second baseman, not a shortstop. Just how proud are you when you see these guys do get these Gold Gloves that you help them win? That's got to be so amazing for you as a coach to see that happen.
Well, that's what we do as coaches, you know. Our job is to try to help them get to the level that they want to get to. And the only thing I've ever told them is they're going to have to give me work and they're going to have to give me maintenance. And if they give me work and they give me maintenance, they can meet the dream and the goal that they have set for themselves. We can do it together. So I don't ever just take credit for what you see a kid does that has been working with me, because you could be the best coach in the world. If the kid you're working with can't go get it done, how good are you?
Yeah.
But if the kid go get it done, give him credit.
Yeah.
Because when we started this, I knew I was a badass.
That's got to be cool. You've done some incredible work with Luis Arraez this year. Obviously, he had a reputation of his defense before he came here. He looks incredible out there. What's it been like working with him this year?
It's been just as satisfying as any other player that I worked with. Louis came in spring training. He had some goals set, and I just point blank told him, I can help you reach those goals, but you got to give me what I need for you to reach those goals. And if at any time you decide that you can't do this, I'm through. I'm just going to give up. Well, from the day he arrived in spring training down in Scottsdale, the results out there is what Louis already had inside of him. The San Francisco Giants and the work and the maintenance that he's done with me is the vision you see out there. Give the credit to Louis and give the credit to the San Francisco Giants because, as I said earlier, Ron Washington knows what he's doing.
And it's translating out there for sure. And of course, another guy that you got to work with a lot this year is Bryce. Just saw you work with him up there, and he was just saying, in 2024, he didn't have a position. And now you got him playing really good first base work there. Just talk about what it's been like working with him and just how he's kind of shown up and taken what you've taught him this year.
Well, the thing with Bryce, I've been surprised because when I was working with him in spring training, I didn't actually know he was 21 years old.
He looks a little bit older, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks about 24, 25.
Tall enough to be older, yeah.
Tall enough to be older. So I didn't know, but as we got to the end of spring, someone told me he was 21.
You didn't know till the end of the spring that he was 21?
Yeah, I learned at the end of spring that he was 21 years old. But what I did learn about him is he has work ethic. He show up every day, he wants it, he works. Because he's 21 years old, you got to stay on him because he does blink out every now and then and think that he got it. You think he has it.
Yeah.
And I keep telling him, when you get to the point where you think you got it, you go home. Because as long as you're in baseball, you got to work. And so far, he's been putting in the time, he's been putting in the work. He's 21 years old, and look how he's handling himself. He's 21. How much baseball does he have under his belt at 21? How much wisdom and knowledge has he acquired at 21? But he's up in the big leagues handling himself. Class act. I like Bryce. And I hope the Giants keep me around so I can help him and watch him grow into one of the best players that we'll ever have in the National League.
So we talked about, obviously, you've worked with Marcus, who's a shortstop and a second baseman, Luis at second, Bryce at first. I'm sure you did a lot of work with Matt Chapman as well when he was first coming up. Is it, when you're working with guys who play different positions, do you have to kind of coach a little bit differently when they play different positions, or is it all kind of what you do translate across those positions?
Well, it's both. It's what you do translate across those positions, but there's different nuances at every position, and I know every position. So most of the things are the same. The education of the different positions is what's different. I talk about shortstop. When I got shortstop, it's a little different than I'll talk about second base. I talk about first base different than I talk about second. I talk about third different because they are different. But the things we do to make sure that you're equipped to handle them are the same.
So, Ron, again, thank you so much for your time. You've been in this game your entire life. This might be a very broad question, but what do you think is the most important lesson the game of baseball has taught you about life?
Patience. You got to have patience. When I remember when I was a young coach, I'm like a lot of the young coaches in the game today. I want everything right now. It's got to happen today. But now I realize the process. And in the process, you get patience. And once you learn patience in this game of baseball, you're going to be pretty good in this game.
Awesome. Coach, thank you so much for chatting with me today. Really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you bringing me on. Thank you so much.
That was Ron Washington, my conversation with him in the Giants dugout last night before their 4-3 loss to the Rockies. On the other side, we're going to wrap this show up. We're going to talk about Jackson Flora a little bit more, newest San Francisco Giant. Plus, I have it, the definitive 5 worst losses of the season so far. That and more on the Weekend Wrap, brought to you by Fremont Bank, here for good.
Wow, what is all this? These screens, the food.
All for the game, bro.
Let us pitch in.
No need. I'm saving $1,000 bundling my wireless and internet with T-Mobile. I've got it all covered.
Goal! Here to score big with T-Mobile. Families save up to $1,000 a year when they bundle 5G home internet with 4 phone lines on Experience Beyond. Compared to regular rates after third line free on Experience Beyond plan with internet bundle discount via monthly bill credits and auto-pay discount. Credit stop if you cancel or change plans.
Alameda County Fair in Pleasanton ends July 12th, but the Star-Spangled Family Fun is going strong with kid-approved bites and thrilling rides for every age. Stop by the Safeway barn to interact with farm animals. Make it a family night with movies on the lawn. Enjoy racing pigs and treats like cotton candy and funnel cake. Plus, catch the Final Action Sports Weekend event with truck and tractor pulls. It's all here. Open Wednesday through Sunday. Don't miss the final days. For tickets and info, visit AlamenaCountyFair.com.
Grass-fed ribeyes.
Yes, chef.
Responsibly sourced salmon that was never frozen.
Yes, chef.
Restaurant quality steaks.
Yes, chef.
Organic chicken.
Yes, chef.
Wild-caught seafood.
Yes, chef.
At Sprouts, every cut is handpicked for flavor, freshness, and quality worthy of the chef at home. Even if your toughest critic still needs a booster seat.
More steak, please. Yes, chef.
Sprouts Farmers Market.
If you're still arguing with your buddies about who's winning Saturday's UFC main event with Conor McGregor, stop guessing and start trading your prediction on Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. Trade against other fans, not the house. Whether you're predicting this weekend's UFC action, confident in McGregor taking down Holloway, or calling the biggest moments in sports, Polymarket lets you put your take to the test. Download the Polymarket app and use promo code BLAZE to unlock $50 free for your first trade. That's promo code BLAZE. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
Hey, Bay Area sports fans, get ready for game day with Laughing Monk Brewing. Whether you're watching with friends or heading out after the final whistle, Laughing Monk has the perfect beer for the moment. With locations in Sunnyvale, Scotts Valley, and Bayview in San Francisco, there's always a Monk nearby. And now, check out their newest San Francisco location in Nopa. From crisp lagers to bold IPAs, every beer is righteously brewed in San Francisco. Grab a pint, grab your crew, and make game day better at Laughing Monk Brewing. Righteously brewed in San Francisco.
Hey, it's Dan Dibley from 95.7 The Game. I'll be at Bay Street, Emeryville on Sunday, July 19th for the final, and I would love to see you there. Match day festivities begin at 11:30, whistle blows at noon, and there's no better place to watch than the giant plaza screen and terrace TVs. Come grab some great food, meet me and 95.7 The Game crew, and enjoy an incredible match day atmosphere. Get details at baystreetemeryville.com/events.
History San Jose and the Cruiser Shop in Campbell invite you to Shiny Side Up Bike Show on Sunday, July 19th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at History Park, 1650 Center Road in San Jose. Experience 100-plus bicycles, local vendors, a live DJ, a kids zone with activities, BMX stunt shows, and food trucks. Tickets are $5 for kids and $10 for adults. Visit historysanjose.org for tickets and more information.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi, it's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
If life is a game to be won, then every child deserves to play on a level field. Children International is empowering young people in poverty on their journey by giving them the tools, the training, and the skills to shape their own futures. From the early days of development through all stages of growth and into employment. This is how, together, we can help end poverty for good. Learn more at children.org.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Final stretch here of the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap as I get tangled up in my cord here. Sam Lohman alongside Dan Devone. Giants just drafted Jackson Fleur with the number 1 overall pick. On the previous segment, you heard my conversation with Ron Washington. We'll post that up on YouTube as well. If you want to go back and re-listen to it, you can also go back and re-listen to it on the free Odyssey app. And yeah, Wash, man. What a great conversation.
Yeah, good job on that.
Yeah,
he's an interesting guy.
I think my favorite part of that conversation was asking about the Moneyball scene, or obviously in the scene in the movie where he's sitting in the living room with Brad Pitt's Billy Beane and Chris Pratt's Scott Hatterberg, and Billy Beane's like, yeah, first base is incredibly easy. Scott, tell him, Wash, it's incredibly hard. And so getting the actual story on how that went down, that was pretty fun there.
Well,
but
the conversation apparently did take place, just not at his house.
Just not in his house. And my favorite, there were some choice words that were thrown in there too. It's like, oh, love to know what those choice words were. I didn't ask that question because, again, that was supposed to be a safe for radio interview, and I didn't want to risk the chance that some of those choice words were words that would need to be bleeped out later on. So, but Washington was cool. That was one of those guys, like, Dan, like, I kind of regret, like, I never really got like a one-on-one with Justin Verlander last year. And Verlander, of course, announced his official retirement earlier this week. So congratulations, Justin, on a successful career for him. But I regretted never getting a one-on-one with him. And I couldn't let that happen with Ron Washington. I don't know if this is going to be Wash's only year with the Giants, but I'm glad I was able to check that off my bucket list. It's like, we got to get Wash on this station some way, somehow.
So how long does he work out with these guys before a game?
So I get there. So the clubhouse usually opens about 3.5 hours before the game. That's usually when I get there. About 2.5 hours before the game, he'll be out there.
Wait, why are you getting there so early?
Well, that's when the clubhouse opens. And the media can go in and talk to players. So
but why are you talking? So you like to do the pregame?
Yeah, I do the whole pregame festivities. Yeah.
All right.
So like last night was a 7:15 first pitch. Clubhouse opened at like 3:10, I want to say, so about 4 hours prior. And
so wait, last night, what time did you get to the ballpark?
I got there about 3:10 yesterday.
And what time did you go home?
Oh my God, dude! The fireworks did not help.
Oh, it
was a nightmare and a half getting out of the city. The game went late, first off, because that hour-long ninth inning.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
And then, so I think I got out of the ballpark close to like 11:30, got in my car, and I got home by 12:30. And of course, brush teeth, get ready for bed. I think I was in bed by 1 o'clock.
No doing the hair last night, because that would have been another hour and a half.
No, that's why the hair is very meh today.
So that's a long day.
That's
brother.
After doing the morning show and waking up at 3:30 that morning, going off of 6-ish hours of sleep. Like, I think I get usually about maybe 25 or 30 hours of sleep a week.
So sleep in tomorrow, young fella.
So I'm actually right after the show. I'm hightailing out of town. I'm going up to Inverness for a week to my little secluded fortress of solitude up in Tomales Bay. And, so much sleeping. So much sleep. Yeah. I am counting down the minutes till I can just blast out of here. So, yeah, I've been running on fumes. So, yeah, thank you for that. But, yeah, Wash, just absolutely awesome guy. He brought up the Marcus Semien story, and I like that he brought that up because I remember my first tour of duty with this station, back when this station was the home of the A's. I was credentialed to go to an A's game, and actually I had to go there because Lo Neal, who was doing the morning show at the time, he was going to take batting practice with the A's. And so I went there to kind of do social media videoing for it, basically do what, our Whitley Sandretto does now. Shout out Whitley, our head of digital here at 95.7. So I was going to go in and take video of that. And while I'm waiting for Lo to get into the batter's box, start hitting, I'm watching Wash work with Marcus Semien. This is 2016. In 2015, I think Semien had like all of the errors. He was the worst to field defensive shortstop in baseball. And I believe this was Wash's first year back with the A's after he was done with Texas. And I'm watching Wash work with Semien. He's using the pancake. We watched him work for about 15, maybe 20 minutes tops. And I texted my friends, Daniel, Jordan, Kevin. They're huge A's fans. They're three of my best friends. They're all huge A's fans. All of them were so out on Semien at the time. Like, he sucks. He's never going to be good. I texted him in that moment, guys, I'm watching Wash work with Semien. This dude's going to be a Gold Glover in 3 years. And 3 years later, he was a Gold Glover and MVP candidate.
You said that.
I said that. Yeah, I texted him that in that moment. And so it's cool that Wash brings him up as well,
what is it
a
about
success
him
story.
that he does that other coaches don't do?
I think he keeps it simple. But he gets on your ass about it too. He demands perfection. He'll call you out if you're not perfect, but he'll also be the first guy to praise you when you are. I was watching him work with Jonah Cox the other weekend, and Cox he seemed so wide-eyed and excited to be working with Wash. And, whenever Jonah did something really good, he'd be just like, oh, great job, man, great job. Give him a pat on the back, a hug, really lift him up. But then when he did something wrong, he pointed out right away. Nope, you got to do it like that. Let's do it again. And he's a stickler. And what I love about Wash is he says at the end, like, as long as you're willing to show up and put in the work, I'm going to work with you. But if you're not willing to show up, put in the work, okay, go do your thing. I know what I could do. It's on you.
Yeah.
And I love the confidence that he has as a head coach, not as a head coach, but as a baseball coach.
No, it's sort of fascinating just to bring it back to Adames and Devers that they don't necessarily put in this sort of work.
Not every day. Again, I will admit I'm not there every night. I'm not there on the road. There's a lot that I do not see. But at the same time, like, I see Eldridge and Arias and Schmidt working with them every day. I think Chapman does a lot of his work before I usually get to the ballpark. Of course, he's been shut down from baseball activities right now for the time being. Probably could have mentioned that earlier in the show. That's actually kind of noteworthy. But Giants, actually, on that note, really quick aside on Matt Chapman. Yeah, being shut down from baseball activities. Tony was asked if he's going to do a rehab assignment. Still up in the air on that. But depending on how long he's shut down there for. So that's the latest on Matt Chapman there. But I've seen Chapman putting in the work all the time at third base. Whereas, yeah, I just don't see it as much from Willie and Rafi as often. When considering how often I see those guys putting in the work, I feel like I should be able to see those two. But I leave it open for the possibility that there are things that I do not see that are still happening beyond my purview.
Well, I think what's fascinating that you mentioned that beyond your purview and what you cannot see, oftentimes, just following sports, that when you see a team like that of the San Francisco Giants, and you look at their roster 1 through 9, which is pretty, I wouldn't call it imposing, but I would say it's much better than what the record indicates, and certainly a team that you would think would go to the playoffs. And then when they're as bad as they are, and nobody is it really hasn't been injuries or something that you can point a finger at, believe it or not. I mean, to think this is only get worse if some key players go down with significant injuries. But if you're void of any real injuries and you look at this team and you're like, wow, that's a pretty good starting lineup. Well, why are they so bad? Why are they so bad?
Yeah.
Well, you could say it's the bullpen, but more often than not, in my experience, it's the things you can't see, to your point. And sometimes it's just nothing more than an attitude and guys just not wanting to play with one another. Yeah. And that happens in sports from time to time. And so I as we sit here and scratch our head as to, okay, you can be bad, maybe 500 bad, which I think a lot of us would consider a disappointment going into this season, but to be epically bad when you're on a pace to lose 100 games, what gives here? I wouldn't be surprised if a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, we read a memoir, we hear stories about this 2026 San Francisco Giant team that there was a lot of issues behind the scenes.
Well, that's why I think you brought up the Braves earlier in this show, and I thought that was a very interesting example you brought up. The 2024 Braves, similar situation. They got to an 0-7 start with a really, really good lineup and a really, really good pitching staff and really good coaching staff, too. The Braves are a very respectable organization. And that season just went off the rails immediately. I think they finished somewhere around the 74-77 win range that season. And then they bounced back last year, had a good year last year, and they're having a great year this year with a lot of the same cast and characters that was on that 2024 team. And, breaking news, Mike Yastrzemski on the 10-day injured list, speaking of the Braves. And so I think it's interesting to use them as an example, though, Dan, because I think it's very easy to look at this Giants team, and this is it's going to piss a lot of people off. Steven Ruderman, our friend, included among them. It's very easy to look at the cast on this team. You're like, you know what? Maybe this was just a bad year. Maybe things just got off to a bad start. Things spiraled out of control. These guys have track records. We believe in those track records. Let's try again next year. I can absolutely see that being the consensus with this team. And I don't know if that's the case. Chapman, again, he's 33. His skill set's only going to decline. How quickly, I don't know. But he is an injury risk. And that's something's going to not go away. Willie Adames, he had a good year last year. I don't know about this year. Rafi Devers, he's technically in the prime, but my guess is there's more not great years ahead of him than great years. It could be better next year, but I don't know about the years beyond next year. And that's, of course, assuming we have a next year. Shout out to Lockout.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far because I think that getting back to my original statement that I do think that there's something amiss about this team that we can't see. And so with that being said, I think the last thing I would want to do is to bring all these guys back. And they know who it is. If there is indeed something going on, my best guess would be Devers. And I think that there might be some sort of division in the locker room. The minute you have guys who start, it's not unlike here at 95.7 The Game or any other workplace, that if you're to get the most out of people, they got to want to enjoy coming to work every day. And I think that there might be something behind the scenes with the Giants. I don't know this is fact, but more often than not, when you see a team like that of San Francisco that has a good roster and they're so underwhelming that usually more often than not that there's something more than just the physical that's at work here. And I'd venture to say that there's a couple of culprits in there that are creating some division. And we may not know the full story, if ever, but
I'm sure towards the end of the year, the hit pieces will come out. Hey, Dan, I remember that 2023 Giants team, one of the most difficult Giants teams to watch in a very, very long time. I saw them playing their little card game all year long in that clubhouse. And I'll never forget, like, the amount of times I saw Jock Peterson take out his little notebook and write down someone's scores or whatever. And then at the end of the year, Andrew Bagley comes out with the infamous Pasoy story, which led to Daryl DeGuru Johnson screaming out, "We got a Pasoy problem in the clubhouse." And that was a massive issue because it encapsulated just a season that just kind of rotted from the inside out. And we all learned about that towards the end of the year, but we saw it in the clubhouse throughout most of the season. What I'm seeing this year, no one's playing, like, there's card games being played. I don't think it's Pasoy. I don't think it's getting too out of hand in terms of how many people are playing it. I still see a lot of guys showing up every day, putting in the work. I see your guy, Cuckoo Gilbert. I see him in the cage a lot. See Bryce out there with Wash a lot. Like, there are guys who are putting in the work to get better this season. I just right now, I don't know how deep it goes in terms of who's putting in the work, who's not putting in the work, who's a problem, who's not a problem. I have theories, but I'm not going to postulate theories on air right now when I don't have conclusive evidence. I'm not going to go that deep into my reckless speculation. But yeah, no, there's something is amiss. Oh yeah, I don't think that's a controversial statement, although.
Well, I guess this really gets back to, can they move off of Rafael Devers? First of all, do you think they want to? And I would venture to say they do. And secondly, it just becomes a matter of. And
so are you putting Rafi kind of as like? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yes,
here, Dan,
because I am being reckless, unlike you.
Okay,
you're a much more responsible journalist.
If I said, are you putting like if you were to power rank your Giants' problems in the clubhouse, is Rafi at the top of your power rankings?
I base it on nothing.
Yeah.
I base it on just simply a guy who's talking into a microphone.
Okay.
I don't know. This is fact. Yeah. But I do think that there is something wrong that is not visible to the average sort of person watching this team as to understanding why this is happening. Yeah. And more often than not, just my experience is that there's I'll give you an analogy in basketball. In the Boston Celtics back in the day, when they had their two best players were Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward, and they both went down with injuries. And then that year, two rookies by the name of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown led them to the Eastern Conference Finals and went to a Game 7 against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So you were thinking the following year, when you get Kyrie Irving back and you get Jason Hayward back to go along with these two rookies and Al Horford and all these players, they were the odds-on favorite to win the NBA Finals and to clearly beat the East. They were a sub-500 team. Everybody was healthy. And so you looked at it, and very similar to that of the San Francisco Giants, you're like, well, why are you so damn bad? And then it came out months later that this was the beginning of crazy Kyrie when he went to Brooklyn and he was
everything went flat.
And he was such a problem in that locker room. And he was so divisive to the younger players that was the reason. That was the culprit. And I always remember that, just to use that as an example when I'm sort of surmising what's wrong with other teams. And Major League Baseball, I don't think locker rooms are any different in Major League or the NFL or that of Major League Baseball, that there is really something there to that if you cultivate the right energy, it translates into wins and losses. Again, to bring it back to the 2010 Giants, it was the complete opposite, where it was a team physically, you're like, yeah, and granted, Lincecum and Kane and company would eventually be really good, but at that time, they were just like, how, Edgar Renteria, really? All of these guys are going to, Cody Ross, this is going to win a World Series? But as Mike Krukow was so bold to say, because he recognized it as a veteran, obviously, that this team is going to win and go to the playoffs, because you could sense, it was palpable, that they had the proper alignment in that locker room.
I agree with that. That was also a very veteran-heavy team, that 2010 team. You had a lot of long-time guys. Like, your youth was behind the plate and Buster Posey and on the pitcher's mound. That is where your young guys were at. And if we want to focus on Devers for just a moment here, Dan, like, it doesn't help that when he got here, this team was like, 14 games above 500 or something like that. And they've been, gesturing wildly at the Giants ever since then. It's very easy to make that correlation of, Ralphie made them bad. I don't think it's that simple.
I agree.
And I asked Buster about that during his nightmare presser, and maybe it's an unfair question to have asked him, but everyone's wondering, though, is Ralphie the problem? I know Giants fans are all saying, we'll start with Ralphie. So I threw that question at Buster just because I know every Giants fan would want to ask that question of Buster. And Buster gave, he didn't attribute it to Ralphie. Of course, he's not going to say that. He's not going to say, I'm pretty sure Ralphie's the reason why. Of course, that would be malpractice if it was true or not. But I got to wonder, Dan, part of the reason why things went south with Ralphie in Boston is he felt that he was getting usurped or replaced. They brought in Alex Bregman to put him at third base, and they didn't tell him about that. And he took exception to that. He comes to the Giants. They tell him up front, hey, we want you to play first base. He's like, okay, you told me that up front, so I'm on board with that. Now, all of a sudden, here comes this 6'7" bearded guy in Bryce Eldridge, 21 years old, who plays the exact same positions as Ralphie Devers. If you're Ralphie, there's got to be a part of you, reckless speculation, that's kind of rolling your eyes going, poop, here we go again. Like, that's another guy they want to have usurp your position.
Mm-hmm.
I got to wonder how much that is on his mind this year.
Oh, for sure. We already saw this play out in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess to your point and what it is that you just mentioned there, it wasn't out of nowhere for Bryce Eldridge, though. He was already in the system, and he was already tagged as to be the next guy. Like, he was his generational prospect, right? That was just yo-yoing between the Giants, the parent club, and the minor league. So I guess it begs the question, why would you put Ralphie or the Giants in this situation when you had Bryce Eldridge? I know there was a sort of, we'll just let it figure itself out, right?
Well, I will say, and this is where you brought up the overcorrection earlier in the show from the Farhan era. Farhan Zaidi, I recall, it seemed like he was so nervous to make a trade because he didn't want to block a prospect. Like, let's not go out and make a swing a deal for random name Luis Robert Jr., who was a name that Giants fans were banging on the table. Go get me this guy. Oh, we can't do that. Wade Meckler's coming up through the system. We don't want to block Wade Meckler. Like, that's the kind of stuff we saw in the Farhan Zaidi era. It was very easy to say, forget about the guy in the system. Get the guy now, figure it out later. Mm. Well, here we are. Forget the guy in the system. Figure it out later. The figuring out later part is not as easy as we thought it was.
Well,
Granted,
because the guy in the
outfield
system
versus first base, different positionings there, but...
And the guy in the system is not Wade Meckler.
Yeah, exactly. The guy in the system is a lot better than that. So I like the Ralphie deal when it happened. I'm not going to sit here and play revisionist history and be like, oh, I saw it was coming all along. That's Steven Ruderman's job. But I think we all underestimated just how easy it would be to have those two harmoniously come together. Now, maybe it is going to work out. Maybe Bryce really is just meant to be a DH his entire career. Not betting on that right now. Maybe Ralphie will one day accept, as Skills said, we'll be, well, it wasn't Skills. It was, who was the other guy that called in? Coach in Vallejo. That's who it was. Coach and Vallejo said, yeah, convince him. And I don't know if it's that easy either. I get why the Giants made that move for Rafi. Maybe the lesson learned is this is why you don't make trades for guys when you have guys coming up in the season.
Well, let me just ask you this. Do you think that we already know that he's been sort of anointed as the star of the future, if not, quote unquote, the face
Bryce,
of the Giants?
yeah.
That being Bryce Eldridge. Do you think this is sustainable for another 9 years?
No. Especially because when Rafi arrived here, he was expected to be the star. Oh my God, he's here. Let's get him in really quickly. Ruderman!
Oh, time. We have time for the Ruderman replay.
We'll blow through the heart. We'll blow through the heart out to get our guy Ruderman on. Steven, glad you're awake, bud. How you doing this morning?
I'm all right. I've had to sleep in because I'm getting ready to head up north. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. I wish I could sleep in. That sounds really
There's
nice.
sleeping in, and then there's noon, Ruderman.
I'm about to head up on a long trip. What do you guys expect me to do?
Well, we expect the Ruderman replay, so we'll give you a couple of seconds to think of something here. But
Well, no, I want to hear Ruderman. I want to hear your call of the Casey Schmidt base hit in the 9th inning last night.
So, Ruderman, would you rather have us tell you what we want the Ruderman replay to be, or do we leave it up to your own devices?
I'll do it myself. I want to clarify something about what happened last night. Lance Barstow, the first base umpire, immediately made the call, probably because he had a better angle of the catch, no catch. So I just want to clarify that. That's why there was confusion.
You don't think, what's his name, Willie Tarkinen, or what was his name again? I want to make sure I get the name right.
Taylor?
Willie Trainer, you don't think that him at second base had the better angle than Barksdale at first? I mean, Trainer was looking right at it.
Well, it's the thing like that when a guy's directly coming in like that, that can actually be a very hard call to make. As some people know, I umpire. I had a call 2 years ago at Jesuit during a freshman game in which a guy was coming in, a fly ball to right field. I was looking straight at the right fielder coming in, and I completely missed the call, and I was the only guy in the ballpark who had seen that angle. I mean, who had thought that he actually caught the ball. Thankfully, Jesuit was blowing out the other team. And I also want to say Willie Trainer was one of my instructors at the Wendelstedt Umpire School. They teach us about things about angles and things to that nature. I mean, they teach us two-man, but when you go through umpire training, they're going to teach you about things like angles and who is in a position to make certain calls.
All right.
That was remarkable.
I'll buy that.
We've gone this long into the show, and that might be the most insightful thing that's come out of the.
Well, that's why I like having him on. He can actually say what actually happens with the umpires, and then I'm going to yell about it anyway. So that's what. So do you have a call that you want to recreate for us here, Ruderman?
Any other takeaways from last night?
Oh yeah, what are your thoughts on Flora?
I'm glad the Giants are drafting pitching. The Giants Buster has done a good job with the farm system, but the Giants desperately need pitching prospects, and I hope they get some pitching prospects 3 weeks from now at the deadline. All right, I'll give you Eldridge's first splash hit.
Love it.
Here's the pitch. There's a swing and a high drive deep to right. This one is way back, and this one is into the water. Bryce Eldridge with the first of, I think, what we can safely assume will be many splash hits, and the Giants, well, I'm announcing a replay, so I don't remember what the score was at the time. It's 2-0 San Francisco.
2-0.
Can you really quick? We got about 30 seconds. You can give us the Casey Schmidt line drive controversial outer safe play in center field last night with runners at first and second.
And what was Carey, just the guy in center? Here's the pitch, swinging a shot into center field. Carey coming in. He dives. And what's the call? Lance Barstow, the first base umpire, has his fist in the air signaling out. Everyone is confused. Nobody's going anywhere. They're going to throw the ball into second and step on the bag there. They're going to throw the ball at first and step on the bag there. Tony Vitello is going to come out. I have no clue what's going on other than that fact that Lance Barstow, the first base umpire, did signal out. He had a better angle of the play. Sometimes, and this is what they will teach you in the umpire world, you got to sacrifice distance for angle. Remember that, kids.
All right, I'm going to remember that. Thanks for calling in, Steve, and have a step trip up north.
Ladies and gentlemen.
There we go, and that was Steven Ruderman. What a fun way to end the show, Dan. I'll see you. You're out next week,
Yeah,
I believe,
I'm out
right?
next week, and I'll
Parts
see you in
unknown.
2 weeks.
All right, I will see you in 2 weeks. I am going to get the hell out of town and go on vacation for the next week. Risotto, Victor, great job behind the glass today. Shout out to you, Victor. I didn't give you a shout out on the show today, man. Crack the mic, say what's up to the people. Glad to have you on here.
Appreciate you, Sam. What's going on, everybody?
There you go. I could have gone that earlier in the show and given him more of a runway, but you know what? I'll have you in with us next week, and I'll have you say more stuff.
Hell of a job.
Good job, Vic. Hey, didn't even notice you on the board, and that's a good thing there. Noticed you a lot less than I did Willie Trainer, so that's what we like to see. Dan, thank you so much. Giants, they start in about an hour. Tyler Mahle against Kyle Freeland, our favorite guy there. See if he gets into any attitude issues today. And, of course, never forget, Dodgers suck.
Later, dudes. Let it rip. Hang 10.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Being a deputy for the San Francisco Sheriff's Office means maintaining high standards of compassion and professionalism. It means representing the office with honor and distinction and being proud to serve and protect the people of our community. It's about being a role model for the next generation and being able to show them that they can be anything they want to be. SF Sheriff's Office is hiring. Your future begins here. Head to joinsfsheriff.com to learn more.
This is an urgent health alert for anyone who cut, ground, or polished engineered stone countertops. If you worked with quartz or artificial stone slabs, brands like Caesar Stone, Silestone, or Cambria, and now suffer from shortness of breath, a chronic cough, or have been diagnosed with silicosis or lung disease, you may qualify for significant compensation. Go to govictory63.com now for a free, completely confidential case review. Your information stays private. No one contacts your employer without your permission. Stone fabricators across the country are coming forward. Lawsuits allege manufacturers knew their high silica products were causing devastating lung disease in workers and failed to warn. Verdicts have already reached millions of dollars. Go to govictory63.com now for your free, confidential case review. If you've worked with engineered stone and your lungs aren't what they used to be, act now. Filing deadlines apply. Visit govictory63.com for your free, confidential review. That's govictory63.com. This is a paid advertisement for legal services by the Goldwater Law Firm in Phoenix, Arizona. Primary legal services performed by co-counsel law firms. For additional disclaimers, go to goldwaterlawfirm.com.
If you're still using a sports book to bet on the soccer tournament, you're getting robbed. Delete that app and join the millions using Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. Trade against other fans, not the house. Polymarket, your go-to prediction market for soccer's biggest stage. Available in all 50 states. Download the Polymarket app. Use promo code BLAZE to unlock $50 free for your first trade. That's promo code BLAZE. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, if you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Oak Cliff Speed Test Intelligence Data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Join 95.7 The Game at the Miristar Federal Credit Union Stuff the Bus event. A backpack drive supporting Bay Area student success July 18th in San Jose from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Help us make an impact in our community. Get all the details and donate now at 957thegame.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Said he did receive, he did have a good conversation with somebody who had a little bit of a conflict of interest. But it was not Bill Belichick. It was not Kyle Shanahan. And so you hear that and you go, well, who could it be? And Patriots fans have jumped to conclusions and assumed that it was Tom Brady. Now, Zach Gelb reached out to Mike McDonald and he said, it was not Tom Brady. That's not who I was referring to. But of course he's going to say that. And I don't know if it's Tom Brady or not that Mike McDonald would have gotten advice from in getting ready to go against the Patriots. I don't know. But let's just say it is. Right? If you had to bet, let's just say it was Tom Brady. Okay. So Tom Brady gave him some intel. He let them in on maybe some of the secrets on, how the offense works and Josh McDaniels and all that. Okay, fine. Well, Patriots fans aren't happy about that. Just like they weren't happy with Brady when he said he didn't have a dog in the fight before the Super Bowl. And so now if this is Tom Brady, let's just say that it's true. If this is Tom Brady that gave Mike McDonald some intel on how the Patriots work, you would look at that and go, well, how could he? We got screwed. New England got screwed. And at some point you'd say, well, you got to take some accountability, right? You got your ass beat. It wasn't close. The game, at no point in time did you think New England had a shot in that game. They got destroyed. And so it does bring up the conversation about accountability. And I say all that to say this. There's another little controversy that's going on, which goes down to accountability. But it's in the world of baseball. All right. So Ben Horney of Front Office Sports did a story on, and I'll summarize it because there's a lot of little details going on here, but I'll summarize the story. Basically, Bryce Harper recorded a cameo video for somebody who was a VIP host at FanDuel, and the VIP host had Bryce Harper do the video for one of their bettors or clients, if you will, and it's now being investigated by the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board as they are reviewing the situation because the accuser, in this case, the guy who's suing FanDuel and DraftKings or whoever else all this money because he basically was claiming that they were trying to, he has a gambling problem, he's a gambling addict, they're trying to get him to stay around longer, and they're forcing him into his addiction, and they're making him gamble more, and all of these things. So all of this stuff is happening, and this VIP host of this gentleman used this video from Bryce Harper to, in essence, try and engage with him to get him to gamble more. Now, people looked at this and said, Bryce Harper can't do that. You cannot send cameos to a VIP host from FanDuel to get him to get the guy to try and bet more. And I would say this isn't on Bryce Harper. This is not Bryce Harper's fault. You can blame that and say, well, he should have, and they can investigate this all they want. Bryce Harper wasn't doing a promoted ad for FanDuel. He was just recording a cameo video. He probably gets 1,000 of them a day, and he's banging them all out, and he's sending them out. And furthermore, it's not on the VIP host either. Because I know there's a lawsuit, and I know there's a claim, and I know there's they're trying to entice me to gamble more. They know I have a problem. Okay. And the VIP host, while it is a little shady, and while it's a little suspect, and maybe you shouldn't do that if you know somebody does have a problem and they're losing their ass on a bunch of bets, and you're trying to, you know what the VIP host is doing? He's doing his job. Now, did he need to have Bryce Harper put a cameo video together to try and get this guy to gamble more? Probably not. Maybe he gets in trouble for it. I don't know. But in essence, he's doing his job because his job is to get them to keep gambling. Just like when you sit down at a casino, their job is to try and get you to stay around longer. Hence the oxygen they pump into casinos. Ever wondered why you stay awake so much longer when you're in Vegas? Because you don't know what time it is. How many of you have walked out of a casino in Vegas and the sun's out and you're like, oh, God. Do you do that at home? Probably not. But you do in Vegas. Why? They're trying to keep you engaged longer. Just like when you walk into a liquor store, there's a giant sign that says, hey, 12 packs, this amount of money. Hey, this on sale. Hey, look, you go into a same thing. But at some point, it's not on the VIP host. It's not on Bryce Harper. It's not on the gambling company. It's on you. Take some accountability. You got choices. You don't have to bet your entire life savings on this stuff. You don't have to bet and cost your family thousands or hundreds of thousands, or if you're lucky enough, millions of dollars, because you can't say no to a prop bet. Hey, buddy, it's 1 a.m. Maybe you should go upstairs and sleep and not bet on Australian horse racing on TVG. That's you. That's not the VIP host. Was the VIP host responsible for Brendan Sorsby betting on the Nathan's hot dog eating contest? No. You got choices. When you go into a supermarket, I walked into a supermarket yesterday. On the wall, there was a giant display of potato chips, which are terrible for you. Terrible. A giant display of potato chips, seasonal Independence Day cookies, summer cookies, soft drinks, beer. You know what's right around the corner from there? Organic produce. For some reason, the signage there isn't as big. I don't know what it is. It's weird how that works. But guess what? You got a choice in the moment. So what's it going to be? So, you know, the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board's going to look into the situation. Oh, we're going to look into this. We're going to see what Bryce Harper did wrong here. He didn't do anything wrong. He recorded a cameo video. He charges $895 a piece for, which is wild, by the way. This VIP host paid close to $900 for Bryce Harper to send a video out. He's like, this is an investment. I'm going to send him this because I think this is going to entice this guy to gamble more. Sorry. Guess what the guy can do? He could say no. He didn't have to gamble. But this isn't surprising. And this is what I've said the entire time. When all of these stories about gambling pop up in sports now that sports gambling websites and apps are all part of sports now because of the money that it brings in, when all of this stuff pops up, why are you surprised? It's like the people who are surprised at all those guys that did steroids back in the steroid era. By the way, I like how the steroid era ended. Yeah, guys are still pissing hot. That's funny. Okay. But it's like everyone's, oh my God, I'm stunned. Like all these guys were on the juice. Come on, man. Did that seem normal? Have you seen some of the numbers? Like go through, you can find it on social media. They'll have the starting lineups for an all-star team, and you go through and the numbers are preposterous. Preposterous. Like at the All-Star break, guys batting .340 with 35 home runs and 80 RBIs. Boy, that's normal. What are we talking? What? But I'm shocked at this stuff. No, this is what happens. If you put this within the vicinity of sports, sometimes it's going to get into the wrong hands. Just like if you leave a loaded gun out in the middle of the street, somebody's probably going to pick it up. The second you brought gambling into the conversation and you brought it into the sports world, stuff like this was going to happen. You were going to have some people bet on games. You were going to have some people bet on their own games. You were going to have some people give information to somebody so they could bet on it. You were going to have some people record cameo videos because a VIP host wanted to use that to get someone else to gamble more. You were going to have this happen. And so you get people out there, the naive ones, or probably the sports betting virgins, I like to call them, who have never placed a wager in their life, but they'll tell you about all the pitfalls of it. Hey, whatever you do, don't gamble on sports, and don't you get it near our sports. Okay. So then what's that little number next to the games that you're covering? That's the betting line. So don't talk about that either. And I don't want to hear you use the term favorite in discussing or previewing a game, because that's what betting is. It's been here the entire time. It's just now part of your vernacular. So you get these people out there that want to shut it down completely. You can't. It's always been here. So what do? Hey, there are risks. There are risks. But ultimately, it's up to the people who make the choice. You have a choice. You can walk by a 7-Eleven, or you can walk into a 7-Eleven. Guess what your next choice is? Gee, do I want a Slurpee or a bottle of Pop-Off? Or, gee, should I go with a Chocodile or a Steel Reserve? You got options. You got choices. Take some accountability and stop blaming everybody else for it. At the Jonas Knox on X, at Jonas Knox Show on Instagram, and you can hang out with us as always on the iHeartRadio app. All right, it's coming up next here. Somebody is really trying to step in and lay the law down. The problem is, if they open up this door way too much, more might come out. I'll explain who we're talking about right here on FSR.
The World Cup is on fire. The star power. It's Messi! It's magical! The storylines.
Nobody cares about soccer.
The hell?
Talk to the hand.
Moments shared by billions.
The World Cup bringing the world together.
This is the World Cup. We are Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox, and it's summertime, and Aleve is here to keep you on the go. Whether it's planes, trains, or automobiles, Aleve's got your back with up to 12 hours of back pain relief. With just one dose, you'll get to your destination and be ready for your next adventure. So pack your sunscreen, your shades, and your Aleve no matter where your final stop is. Aleve will keep you moving from sunup to sundown. Aleve's got your back this summer. Feel Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Let me tell you about the Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite. It's bright, it's bubbly, it's back.
The Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich, it's so rich, and you can choose between the original or the spicy filet.
Ooh, boy.
And then you got those pickled jalapenos tucked right under the filet, and then just to top it all off, you've got a little honey drizzle right on top.
Okay, now I'm a pimento fan.
And I'm feeling the dragon fruit.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Turn your sports knowledge into strategy. On Webull's prediction markets, your opinions become tradable positions. Buy yes or no contracts on game outcomes and adjust your position throughout. Watch the market move in real time and even join the conversation in Webull's community as the clock runs down. Beat the final whistle and download the Webull app today to explore prediction markets and get started with less than $1. That's WEBULL on your app store today. Event contract trading involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Sports-related event contracts are restricted in Nevada and Maryland. Webull Futures LLC is a CFTC registered FCM and NFA member. Event contract accounts are not SIPC protected. Review risks and disclosures before trading. Webull.com/disclosures.
Trained to push past the pain. Not athletes, just people. Men, women, and children trafficked every day in the United States. Sometimes by someone they trusted, sometimes by their own family. While millions watch the World Cup, they're fighting to survive in silence. Help us change that. Visit bluecampaign.gov/World Cup to help us break the silence.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a social media manager.
Did you just post our Q4 earnings to your personal social media?
Oh yeah, used the trending audio and everything.
That's confidential financial data.
Relax. It only went a little viral.
The SEC just commented with the eyeball watching emoji.
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor.
Wow, what is all this? These screens, the food.
All for the game, bro.
Let us pitch in.
No need. I'm saving $1,000 bundling my wireless and internet with T-Mobile. I've got it all covered.
Goal! Here to score big with T-Mobile. Families save up to $1,000 a year when they bundle 5G home internet with 4 phone lines on Experience Beyond. Compared to regular rates after third line free on Experience Beyond plan with internet bundle discount via monthly bill credits and auto-pay discount. Credit stop if you cancel or change plans.
If you're still arguing with your buddies about who's winning Saturday's UFC main event with Conor McGregor, stop guessing and start trading your prediction on Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. Trade against other fans, not the house. Whether you're predicting this weekend's UFC action, confident in McGregor taking down Holloway, or calling the biggest moments in sports, Polymarket lets you put your take to the test. Download the Polymarket app and use promo code BLAZE to unlock $50 free for your first trade. That's promo code BLAZE. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
Grass-fed ribeyes.
Yes, chef.
Responsibly sourced salmon that was never frozen.
Yes, chef.
Restaurant quality steaks.
Yes, chef.
Organic chicken.
Yes, chef.
Wild-caught seafood.
Yes, chef.
At Sprouts, every cut is handpicked for flavor, freshness, and quality worthy of the chef at home. Even if your toughest critic still needs a booster seat.
More steak, please.
Yes, chef.
Sprouts Farmers Market.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work.